fine into that back here. Man.
It was loud all the way to, I could sit at the other end of the warehouse there.
That's it, was loud.
Because when you first called, they were on the way, because they were on the way to DMV, they were picking up some DMV, and then when they got here, so he was, got it done.
I helped him some too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, it was,
Hello, Miss Angela.
Hello, Charles.
Howdy, howdy.
Sam and I were like, what, the one of those boxes you're like, put that in the bottom.
Yeah, there was some of them there.
Yeah.
I've been sick,
You just come the other day, I see. You come just the other day.
Well down out there.
I've got quite a bit right now.
Yeah. My things have been really good too.
Good. Good.
Let me know if you start getting low.
Good. I pulled another 6 gallons.
Is this the big seed? Oh, will that be the last time this year? So it starts in spring? Or?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. It's been a screwed up year.
garden wise?
Yes, these have not been normal.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Look at it
Yes.
quickly.
I read over your notes in the email, so.
What else we got here?
Did you take your pool completely down?
Yeah, we had to. No boy wouldn't warranty it. So I figured I'm not gonna get it unless you're
Different tonight. So Rick Klein's gonna come give her a prayer.
That's
And
the
then
line.
Bannon will come and take the pledge of allegiance. And then
That's the cleaner, isn't it? Yeah, that's the cleaner.
There's a new place in Houston too.
We got more than one cleaner.
They would probably.
Friday. So, and then I looked at that thing that you sent me about.
Yeah, they're served.
Okay, so we need.
Didn't we? No, we did a motorcycle last. Yes, yeah, just bought a motorcycle like a couple weeks ago.
He was going through this phase where he's going to get rid of everything.
He does. He does this. You know, this guy here, he just goes this. I'm like, there's nobody in this town that believes that.
Have you ever kept anything there besides that blue? Besides that blue sweater?
No, he's all good.
Yeah.
He probably did keep it the longest, honestly.
watching water boil.
No, waiting.
No, I watch it try to boil. It is 5:30 and we're going to start the August City Council meeting at this time. Tonight we have a little unique special presentation to come and lead us in prayer, and when he finishes, Mr. Jerry Banning will be coming and doing our Pledge of Allegiance, and then we have a special presentation for a 41-year employee. So, Rick, if you will please come to the council. I am gonna ask. We did get a phone call. You've got to speak into the mics, please. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm loud enough. If everybody bow. Lord, we do thank you for another day, Lord, that you've allowed us to be on your earth. Lord, I pray for each and every one that's here today, Lord. I pray that you would give them wisdom. Be with the trumpets or the council persons, Lord, and I ask that you would remind them the phrase that was given to us with Jesus, and that was WWJD, what would Jesus do? And I pray that they would know with the conviction in their heart to know what's the right thing to do. Lord, I pray that as we go within this council service, Lord, I ask that you would touch the things that we will be talking about, and that you would bless them as only you can. Help us to do your business. Lord, also tonight, Lord, we thank you for Randy Bedell, Lord, well known as Skyler. Lord, we ask that you would be with him. He needs physical touch, Lord, and help him to feel better. And Lord, I know he's been here a long time. 41 years is quite a astonishing work ethic, and I pray that you would bless him for that. I know the city's been blessed with his appearance, Lord, here as many days as he'd served, and I ask that you touch him in a mighty way. Lord, help us to conduct your business as we should. I'm thankful for each one that's here. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Let's be thankful for being a miracle.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
To the
republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Randy, if you'll make your way up to the front, please. As Randy's coming up here, this is going to be very emotional for him. And you heard Rick pray. Randy needs healing, okay? There's some things going on that we're not sure of, but we were not going to let this time go by with 41 years is a long time. I remember, though, when he started, when my Uncle Junior started him at the cemetery. Junior's goal was for Randy to know that cemetery like the back of his hand. This man right here, the other street department workers, they can assure that, yes, he knows it. He can tell you where so-and-so's buried. Had an incident happen one week. It was a holiday weekend. A lady called. She said, I can't find my grandfather's grave. I didn't know where it was, so who do I call? And he goes, go at the pine tree, turn to the left, call off four layers, and it's right in the third. And I'm like, guess what? We went up there, boom, boom, right there it was. So, Randy, the city has a plaque for you that says, in appreciation of 41 years of hard work, service, and dedication to the city of Ozark. He started September 1985 and he will officially get to retire the last day of this month. So, Randy, we're going to miss you. We're going to miss your knowledge. Now, I know the day in my office, you're not going to be a stranger. Now, they may make you fry fish every once in a while after you catch a bunch of it, but know that we appreciate you and that you always have a home here, okay? And something else, I have a proclamation here that says, in recognition of Randy Bonneau having dedicated 41 years of continued service to the city of Ozark through his hard work as a vital team member of the Ozark Street Department, I, Mayor Roxy Hall, do declare Friday, August the 14th, 2026, Randy Bonneau Day for the city of Ozark. We have a couple of pins and a leather keychain and a magnet. And I will tell you that Friday from 11 to 1, the city employees we're going to give him a fish fry. And then from 2 to 4, we're going to have a special acknowledgement and recognition for him over in the community center. So please feel free to stop in and thank him, okay? It's a lot of knowledge and hard work and dedication there. Okay, Susan, if you will, please call the roll.
Yates,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Okay, first on the agenda is calling the minutes. Do we have any, you've had these since, I think, what, Thursday? Do you have any corrections or suggestions, anything we need to discuss? If not, I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. I need a second, please.
I'll second it.
Tyler,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
You have your financials. Do you have any comments or suggestions? If not, I need a motion to approve, please.
Motion to approve financials.
Second.
Melton,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Okay, you have your department head reports. As you can see, the water department has been extremely busy. They had a main break, was it a week and a half ago? And we had to do a voluntary conserve the water. So does anybody have any questions or comments on department head? We'll go into the back to school bash here in just a little bit. Okay, if not, under committee and commissions at this time, going to ask Ms. Teresa White, the A&P Commission, to come to the podium, please.
I am going to give a report on the Advertising and Promotion Commission Angela and Summer, and we have Jay Peltz and Hearts. We are having our monthly meeting tomorrow night, and so we have told them they didn't need to be here tonight because we're trying to keep from having 85 meetings a week like everybody else does. So, but he's the only one that's left other than Angela and Summer. So we have, tonight, we have Miss Cindy Beckett. You might know her from the Foxy Goose. Her and her significant other, very significant, may I add. They are new to town, but she has had a lot of experience in Tulsa and other places that she's worked and lived. And so she is going to be one of our at-large members for our commission. And we look forward to her wealth of knowledge that she will be adding to us. And then Mr. Danny Hernandez from Sonic. He is going to be one of our restaurant representatives. We told him he did not have to be here tonight because he's going to have to be here tomorrow night. So, but that's our two newest members, and they are excited to be on board. We have a couple of others. We have room for more. It's just a matter of getting people on board. And Miss Tina over at Hillbilly Hideout, we have been playing phone tag and trying to tag each other down. We would love to have an Airbnb on our commission, as we do not have one. And I think that would be a very good representation for our commission to have on it. We have multiple food vendors in town, and so we're trying to just, it's a pretty big commitment, and so we're asking as many as we can, and then we will give you the heads up again next month. But we know you don't have to vote on the ones that we're adding, but we would ask that you give them your appreciation for serving and welcome them to our commission. So that would be, Cindy's the only one here, so we'll applaud.
I'm afraid Cindy's not gonna be able to qualify,
Come on,
because we have one at-large position available on our A&P commission.
and
you're
that's
it.
me. Ah,
You have to collect the A&P tax.
John, there's three, I believe. We can have three at large total.
That's not what our statute says. Our ordinance says one. That was the whole point, that
Okay.
we changed it to where the at-large had to be in the county or the city, because that was the only position you had to live in the city limits on. That's the whole point of us changing it previously.
The one you seen, John, may be a state, and where ours is different, I bet that's
Yeah, I
what
think
it
it's
is.
state
Yeah,
one off
our
provides.
ordinance only
It-
authorizes one at-large, and
Okay,
everybody.
well, I'm
we have
it.
2 city council members.
Cindy, we still appreciate your
We appreciate
service
you
and
being
wanting
here.
to help,
All right.
and love your store.
Probably relieved.
Does owning a boutique qualify?
No,
Unless you
it doesn't collect A&P
That's
tax.
usually the hamburger tax is what's known as.
Right.
Voting for what?
Voting members concerned to be at large?
The at-large can vote if there's a tie, so if, you know, if there's a position that
Right.
she has to vote in order to make a quorum, then she'll still be able to vote. The chairman generally doesn't vote. but
Right,
If there's a
exactly.
tie, then she can
Yeah.
still vote to break a tie.
I'm kind of like the mayor of the city council, but I'm the AP, right?
Correct. The chairman is, that's
That
right.
was so funny, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Good to know that. And John, would you research that a little more? Because we had actually looked at at state statute.
Yeah.
And
You
how
have to-
many that they say you can have, so.
Yeah,
all right.
that's why we had to modify it, because Kevy was an at-large position,
Well,
but
we
she
know
lived
that,
out,
yeah.
well, but she lived outside the city limits.
That's
That's why
why
we had to
she
modify
resigned.
it to allow the person to live in the city or the county, but we didn't modify the number.
The number, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And John, if you need the copy of that, Susan will be glad to get that for you tomorrow.
Okay, and that's my commission report. As far as the proposal and things that I want to discuss regarding the Kimbrough building, I would like to table those till we get down to that topic on the agenda, if that would be okay for the council.
public input. And first one is Mr. T.F. White. To the podium, please.
Okay. Thanks for listening to me tonight. You know, we need consistency in what we can see on the website. We need consistency in the city's business. That's a little bit of what my discussion is going to be tonight. I went through and I tried to look up the ordinance that was done last week with the Kimbrough building, and I couldn't find it on the website. But from the same meeting, I found ordinance number 2026-9, 2026-10, and 2026-11. And I also went back last year and tried to look for resolutions and ordinances for when you guys decided to go ahead and make the commitment to spend the money on the Kimbrough building. That's not on there, and there's several ordinances that aren't on there in terms of the numbers, you know. So I'd like to see that. In terms of, you know, the minutes from the meeting through minute number 37 through minute number 53, that's kind of when y'all talked about that Kimbrough building. And, you know, last week, it wasn't on, or excuse me, last meeting, it wasn't on the agenda to discuss the Kimbrough building. Nobody even knew that the city could sell it publicly at that time. But it got added, as well as Bob with Cruz Associates, kind of got added just on the fly. Okay? And that's one of the reasons why we're supposed to have an agenda is, do we need to come to the meeting or not? Do we need to be able to give public input or not? So, you know, we were told that Angela's going to sponsor for Teresa to be on the agenda for this meeting. And we went and she came to see Susan, not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday before, and let her know. And then she asked Susan when they needed to have papers for your handouts. And she said, the Wednesday before the meeting by noon. And she brought those to Marla. And, you know, she didn't end up being on the agenda. So, you know, that's really not fair either. We can just put people on the agenda and we can just leave people off the agenda. So, you know, are the 5% bond, I know you can't answer me, but are the 5% short-term bonds going to have a big premium on them? Because all I can find in my inventory is 3% bonds for Arkansas, tax-free. So I think that there ought to be some opportunity to have a little bit of competition. I guess probably 24 years ago, we got the first time.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you ever had anybody compete against you?
Here,
For bond
yes.
issue in the city of Ozark?
Yep, and all over the state.
No, city of Ozark.
Yes.
How recently? How long ago?
Well, I mean, the last deal we did, I'd have to look back, but
3 minutes.
Well,
Sorry.
if y'all want to hear the rest, I'll share it with y'all, but be careful about the reserve that you choose. If you got something to sign, you should go with it.
Okay, Amanda? Hang on, I got to change clock here.
So I kind of wanted to talk about our city noise ordinance. I know that it's not disrupting unless it's after curfew. But I live in town and I've lived in the same house for 9 years. And for 9 years, I've never been bothered in my own yard or my own home to the point to where I felt disrupted. But I have some new neighbors that make a lot of ruckus, and I can hear it inside my house. I've recently been taking classes to teach yoga, and I lay in my living room floor and do my yoga with my teacher. And these stereos that people are using are thumping my floors so fiercely that like I can't even do my yoga. So I've asked the people to turn them down. They say that up and it says that it's, disrupting the peace if, you know, people can hear it inside their houses. And, when I told that to the police officers, they said that that's not gonna matter unless there's multiple people. So here I have a letter from my 75-year-old neighbor, and I have 2 other neighbors who, they're Jehovah's Witnesses, so they didn't, it's of their religion to not get involved in things like this, and so they didn't wanna write letters. But we're all really disrupted by this, and, I don't know if you want me to read this. I heard it could get like 3 minutes. So
Yeah.
I can just give
You're
you
good,
this
okay.
or whatever. But, I kinda wanted to give a proposal that the people in Ozark that want to test these systems and blare their systems in their yard, because it's not just one, I have about 3 people around me, that they have like a designated place to go, a designated day of the week and time. The old Piggly Wiggly parking lot for an hour, they can go and rev their systems and test their systems all they want, and not in the neighborhoods. It's just something that's really been bothering me, and instead of continuing to argue with the police officers, I just bring it in front of everybody else. So, do y'all want this copy?
If, I will take that.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And do I like come back? Let's see if we can talk about it.
This now, we have a meeting, Monday, August the 24th. And that is what we do as all of our committee meetings. So, and it is in here at 5:30. So we would love to have you. Okay? Okay, under old business, Mr. Bob Wright.
Thank you, Mayor. Bob Wright with Cruz and Associates. Following up from last month, if you'll recall, we talked about the concept of you've got this big water and sewer project that you've got to take care of somehow. And we try to put it all on the water and sewer residents, and then their bills would be substantial, north of $70 minimum per month type of rate increase to pay for it. So we were looking at repurposing the existing sales tax that's already out there that worked for this building, the pool, the fire station, things we've done in the past. So we've gone through all that, and the bond attorney, your bond attorney, Jill Grimsley with Mitchell firm, I talked to her today. Y'all don't want to catch whatever she's got, some bad, some are cold. I told her to stay away, so I'll be here to answer any questions. She did send down to Roxy and you specific procedures that if you did want to adopt the election ordinances to put the vote in front of the citizens in November, that would take the existing sales tax, pay off the existing bonds, and repurpose toward the water and sewer system. Get about 16 million, again, depends on the market, interest rates and such. But that would close that gap on what would be required for your residents to pay on the water and sewer system itself and their bills. And then once that, if the voters approve that in November, we issued that debt, and then the balance of from the 16 million thereabouts to the 22, 23, whatever that total project is going to be, we would then need to come back in probably early, mid next year, once we get the audits. We've been working on that for the water and sewer system, and fund the balance. There will be no doubt, and we don't have the 2025 audit, so we don't have the data we have is a couple of years old. But there will be some much smaller rate increase if all this passes. Back to napkin, maybe it's $10 to $15 instead of $70 to $80 rate increase. But again, it's totally dependent on what the 2025 audit looks like, and what that total project cost is. But for tonight, what the city has in front of them are the 2 ordinances, the levy ordinance, and then the pledging of the tax towards the debt, the bond issue. And then that would allow us to get it published 70 days ahead of the election. So in the papers, we've got a short amount of time, so that's why couple of these meetings. That would put the ballot on the November election. We'll see what the results are at that point.
Because the day that it has to be turned in is August the 25th.
That
That's
is
the time that we are looking at.
And we actually, same thing with other cities around the state. Rogers, and they're gonna push it off a couple of days, but Rogers is going for $400+ million. They were gonna have a city council meeting tomorrow night. They're waiting for some county issues, but will probably be later this week. The same thing, we've got to meet that deadline to put these sales taxes in front of the voters going into November. So there's other cities as well doing the same thing.
Well, I think we've had everything pretty well in line, and we've had everything we needed to have done, we've had done, but we've been waiting on our audit. And they keep pushing it and pushing it. I think we were ready to do this a couple months ago. And they keep, we're getting this audit, they keep pushing us off. But I think everybody's in the same boat we are. They're trying, this is a law that was passed in, was it 2021? That these audits had to be done by the 1st of July. And so naturally, everybody's trying to get all this done right now, and that's where we're at. It's not that we have pushed anything off on purpose. We've been trying to get, we could get the right information we need to give Cruz and Associates and our attorneys involved everything they need to get this going. So now we're up against the wall, and we're still waiting on that audit. So it's really nobody's fault. It's just the way it is.
And that's the second piece of the puzzle. And it's, we've got, you know, as you said, trying to, so we get a really accurate accounting as to here's what the sales tax look like, and here's the balance on the water and sewer, but we're up against it with the deadline of the 25th. We've got to get that published to get in front of the voters in November.
And part of the issue with the audit, Kings and Jacob are no longer doing water audits. So we have a new company that is doing it as well. That's another drawback. So,
Can we
we're,
do this without the audit being done?
It's kind of like what he said, we've got the best information we can have, but we have to go ahead and move forward with it. And there's no guarantee exactly what the rate or what the amount will be until we get all of our information, but we have a close idea of what we're looking at.
We know that the sales tax won't cover the full amount. I mean,
No.
There's a $6, $7, $8 million cap. So that whatever the water and sewer audit looks like and whatever the final construction numbers look like, because construction numbers, with all, everything going on in the Mideast, I mean, they're still on a roller coaster as well. That's when we'll come in and fill that gap afterwards. We kept waiting, trying to see if we couldn't give you here's what the total picture looks like. So right now it is basically an estimate. We know that, again, based on the 24 audit, it's at least $70 minimum bill. And you can spread that amongst your rate classes. So what that would look like, it's not exact. It's gonna be, hey, everybody's paying $70. Some commercial and some industrial would probably have a higher bill, and your elderly and fixed income, you wouldn't put all that on them. But it's for the 1,600+ meters that you have. That's just the math to say we've got to generate additional revenue based on 24. Could be a little bit less than that. Could be a little bit more based on what the 25 audit looks like. But it's still a very hefty rate increase that we've talked about a number of times. In this sales tax initiative, tax is not going to go away either way. So if it's, you've already used it and been good stewards of the money to build various projects and fire protection, et cetera, repurpose that to go toward water and sewer. And we talked last month, the cities use sales tax towards water and sewer. A lot of cities that can use that toward quality of life, which you've done in the past, in fire and streets and such. But Fayetteville, that just passed north of $300 billion sales tax in March, 150+ is going to water and sewer to keep that off of the ratepayers. So same concept we're doing here.
and I cannot stress enough, and I understand we do have high taxes. Contrary to what our Facebook friend says, it is not a new increase. It is a continuation. If it passes, it is not a new tax. I cannot tell you how many times I have said that on KDYN. okay? It is not a new tax. I think I'm going to get a T-shirt and have that on, because, and I just want to stress this right now. If you're out there listening to us tonight, pick up the phone and call, ask the water department, ask any of these council members. It's not a new tax. I almost want to get everybody to say that with me, okay? It is a continuation, and it basically comes down, do you want to pay $15 or do you want to pay $70 added to your bill? Common sense.
Can I say something, Roxy?
If you'll speak in your microphone and speak up, because I
I want
don't.
everybody to understand, the tax is not gonna go away. When it goes before the ballot, it's just, we're reallocating the money for the water department. It's not a pass or fail on the taxes. The tax is still gonna be there. It's just where we put the money.
Now, as far as the verbiage that goes in front of the people that's gonna vote.
On the ballot.
Yeah.
And you'll see that in the, if you move to adopt the ordinance and put it on the ballot, you'll see that in the second ordinance.
It's ordinance number 13, Rick.
It is refunding, question and system improvement and replacement.
Got it.
And the refunding, you have to refund the existing debt that has the pledge of that tax, to be able to use it for the new tax. So one or both, one could fail. You don't have to do the dancing if one fails. The tax continues, doesn't go away, continues to pay on the existing debt, and toward operations. And then we have to come back and go, all right, we've got to pay for this with water and sewer revenues. Here's what it's gonna be.
Bob, I think I misspoke a while ago when I was talking about the information we had. What I was thinking that we were needing too was our rate study, which did we ever get never got our rate study. That's what that's the bottleneck right now too.
That is what.
Yeah, 605, that's what we're waiting on. And then I didn't realize that we were getting a different auditing firm either. So, but theirs is usually later in the year, so that's really not unusual. It's later, I guess, toward, is it November probably or so before they do that, the audit?
Yeah, it's normally later in the year, but they have started.
They started
Okay.
last month.
Okay,
Mhm.
but it just takes a while to get it closed out and get the final letter back to us, so. But yeah, my concern was that rate study, which we've been waiting on for months, it seems like, and we still don't have it, so.
And that rate study also needs, up-to-date accurate data from 2025. So
Right.
it all kind of just runs lockstep and, together. 25 audit, that rate study, and then, as that rate study's going, we'll kind of know where those rates need to be if this tax does or does not pass. I mean, that's gonna impact the way that study's gonna work as well.
Okay. I just want to be clear on that, because I wasn't talking about the audit, so.
So, Rick asked about the verbiage on this. The Casey White, or Casey Ford with the Home Demonstration Club will be putting out information, very plain and simple, this or this. And that way they can do that and distribute that through flyers, through Facebook. And I have already been in contact with her to make it as simple as it can be, so there is no confusion. So I guess we are to the point of what's the wishes of the council, correct?
So this is the actual verbiage that's supposed to be on the ballot.
That will be the verbiage. If we pass it tonight, that is the verbiage that must be on the ballot.
That is the
Okay.
requirement, that's what has to be on there. It could be actually, seen as, the way I read it, financing the cost of 1% sales tax and used as, now, we all understand it's gonna be a continuation, correct? Of the
I hope.
exist-
Yeah,
Yes.
so.
Yes.
So my thoughts are this needs to be a little bit cleaner than what way it is right now.
Are you reading that when you're seeing the new 1% replacement tax?
This is the one that's under the ordinance, 2026-13.
There's two under there.
You're talking about the last sentence where it says the levy and pledge of a new 1% replacement tax within the city?
A 1% sales tax and use tax.
Section
We in the
3?
same place?
Yeah, section 3. Are you in the ballot?
Yeah, back here, we're a little bit further where there's for and against.
Does it have a page number on that?
Page,
Okay.
page three and page 4. 3 is for the 2,825,000, and then
Page 4 at the top is actually going to be the ballot language that will appear
All
on
right,
the ballot.
at the top.
Yes.
All right. Vote for or against an issue of bonds of the city of Ozark in a maximum principal amount of $18 million for the purpose of financing betterments, improvements, upgrades, and expansions of the city water and sewer system and facilities in order to pay and secure the bonds. The levy and pledge of a new 1% replacement tax. I can understand replacement tax,
Yeah.
but the new,
Well, because the current tax is obligated for the old bond, you can't reallocate it unless those are essentially paid off, and then a new replacement tax has to come in to allow the new tax, the same tax
Yeah.
rate, but the new tax to be allocated to the new bonds.
We get this question consistently, and it's a great question. The way it reads, like, wait a minute, this isn't a new tax. You're right, but the way the statutes read and the way that you've got to get it on the ballot is you're taking the existing 1% and replacing it with, it's the same tax, but you're eliminating this one tax to put on the new.
okay. So Roxy, what you were saying earlier was we're gonna have it put out to the public and explain.
Yes,
about-
it'll be like on a flyer.
Okay.
And we plan on getting that into the senior citizens, to all the civic organizations.
Mark,
Yes,
Okay.
Mark and I have already discussed this. Yes, I mean, we are
Okay.
going to get it out there. Mr. Rouser had asked I wanted to ask
Yeah.
a question, and it's
Is
kind
this
of
ready?
hard for him to get up here, so I've given, Randy's taken the microphone.
The current tax we're paying now, what's it earmarked for?
Current 1% tax goes to the 2016 series bonds. I'm not sure that was before I was here, so I'm not sure
Yeah, the
what.
tax chases back decades, but the current tax that you're being paid, 7/8% of that goes towards the debt that paid for this building, pool, new fire station,
Okay.
was the last, in the 2016, and operations of the facility.
What's the expiration date of that?
The operation tax does not sunset. There is no sunset on that. The debt tax would sunset on the repayment of the debt.
Okay. Do we have a time frame on that?
It was I'd have to pull out my old files, it was 30 years, so, 46. Now we're looking at extending it 10 years, essentially. Any growth in the tax still pays it off a little bit early, so it's about a 10-year extension.
Okay. If this passes, does 100% of what we vote on go to water and sewer improvement?
The same 7/8 goes toward water and sewer.
Oh, 7/8.
And the 1/8 continues for operations.
Okay. How long would this bond issue be for?
30-year max, but any excess will pay it off early. If rates drop down, you could refinance, but yes.
What rates are we looking at? I mean, y'all were from here to here.
The last numbers that we showed, and again, rates are gonna change between now and, the vote is in November.
I understand that.
The last numbers that we showed the city council, when you factor everything in, was a 4.64% fixed rate for the 30 years.
Okay. What will the customer pay? What's the rate, the expected rate for the customer? The new water, the water bill?
And sewer rates?
Yes.
That's the unknown, because the project is 23 million.
Mm-hmm.
So if the sales tax, the amount of revenue that comes in on the sales tax will only pay for a set amount. So let's say right now is about 16 million. So if we still have $5 or $6 million, $7 million short from paying from the sales tax, we'll have to come in with water and sewer
Right.
revenue debt to pay for the balance. So what impact is it you as a ratepayer in Ozark? We don't know, because one, that 16 million is going to move a little bit. The cost of the project is going to move a little bit. Interest rates are going to move a little bit. And we don't have the 25 audit. So it's an unknown. So the back of the napkin that I showed the city council, the same thing. If you wanted to pay for the whole project, and again, there's 1,600 something meters in Ozark. That's where that $72 minimum charge per meter per month would come in to pay for $20-something million in debt. So taking that same concept, if we carve out 16 million and put it on the sales tax, and we're left with 7 million water and sewer, maybe it's around that $15 per meter per month. Now again, that is, that's where the rate study would say, we're not gonna put that on fixed income, elderly, the base rate. Maybe that's again, you don't want to put a specific number out in public, because we don't know, but let's say they say we're gonna put $5 on the fixed income, we're gonna put a higher rate increase on commercial, industrial, bigger users, some combination thereof, but you have to generate an additional amount of revenue to pay for $7 or $8 million of more of water and sewer revenue debt.
Okay, now, are you talking about in addition to what we're paying, or this would be the total rate?
In addition.
In addition.
In addition.
In addition. Yeah.
So a $70 bill may go up to a $100 bill.
Yeah, whatever you're paying right now, if you're paying 70 right now, could it go to 100? It's probably 85 if it is set again on that minimum. That is to be determined.
Right. How does this affect our rural users that we're supplying water to?
Is the rural user, a lot of cities will charge in-city rates, and then the rural users would be, because it's further to get to a rate plus. Is it a higher rate outside the city limits? So again, to be determined from the rate study, the engineers and the city council determine what's the most effective rate increase to cover the balance. The project is out there, and we're trying to figure out how we're gonna pay for it. You have two options. You can kick the can down the road like Fort Smith did and not take care of the project, and then your bills are well north of 100.
Right.
Or this concept, let's repurpose the tax and have lesser impact on the ratepayers. But what is that impact? We wish we could give you an exact number. There are variables in, that move the needle all sorts of ways.
I think when you make your printout, you need to let the people know this in addition to what they're paying, not total.
And that
That's a
will
little
be
bit
on that
misleading.
flyer as well.
Have
That
y'all
will
talked
have
to-
some examples of if you're paying this, this is what it would be. If
Yeah.
the tax passed, if not, this is what it would be.
Have y'all had discussion with your rural water people?
I think we've had a few discussions already.
Yeah,
They're aware of it.
okay. Thanks, Randy.
May I say something? Do I need to come in the podium?
If you can, Kevin, I didn't, sorry.
I realize y'all are trying to make a deadline in November to get it on the ballot, but I feel like that y'all are making, by voting tonight is premature. That y'all need all your variables and all your data to present to make an educated decision as a council. So, get all your variables together, and when you're looking at a project of how many million, 20 million,
23.
23 million, can it be brought to a special election? Because a special election, I know costs, but when you're talking that kind of money, it may need to be, you may need to have all your data to present to the public. So I feel like it's a little premature with not having all the variables.
And that's a good point. It would be nice to have everything lined out. The timing of how this all works, and the state has taken away on special elections. Now it's only in March or November, general election, or one time in March. If the city waited until March, which you can do, to go to the voters in March on this sales tax, yes, we would have the 25 audit, yes, we would have a rate study, and all of that. And we're facing back with what we're doing right now. We don't have the 26 audits. We've got faulty data as well, so you have to wait. It's a recurring cycle, that every time that we get everything together, well, now the data is old, and you have to wait until the new data comes in. I will say this, and this is not the first, second, or third, or even fourth meeting that, that we've had these discussions. We've been working on this for a while. We tried to get as many pieces to the puzzle together to make a truly, this is our decision, this is the impact on our ratepayers. But even if we wait till March, even if we wait till next November, there still will be the variable of, we don't know how much that sales tax, based on interest rates and all of that, how much that's going to cover to leave whatever gap on, the balance, to pay for with water and sewer. That won't disappear. That's always going to be the unknown that we have to then come in after the sales tax deal is done, look at the data from water and sewer system and fund that gap. So it's always going to be a best guess estimate and what's the least impact on ratepayers. This is the approach, this is the concept that is the least impact on the ratepayers. It won't change if we wait until March or November, or if the voters vote it down in November or March. The project has to happen, and the project didn't come from me, that's from your engineer, the city engineer.
Bob, what will change if we wait is the amount of cost on these projects. The first estimates we had were 2 years before we started trying to work on this, and they went up over $2 million in that period. So every period of time we wait is costing us more money, and the money we're asking for, we're going to get less service out of that, because if we wait, it's, I understand. I'd like to have all the numbers too, but like I said, we have been working on this for a long time to try to get something done, and it's based on the best information that we have. This is the way I think we need to go with it.
The Hawkins Weir report in July of last year, their 23 estimate was 10.9 million, and the 25 estimate was 16.8.
Yeah.
Because of last time. Costs are not going down. We're not seeing costs go down on these.
No.
So yeah, we could wait, but it's. I mean, you're right. What are interest rates going to do? We don't know. That's always the unknown. If the cost of that project stays the same, you can make a finite decision and know exactly the impact. But they're going to have to update the project costs. We're going to have to, at some point, make a move to lock in a big portion of this project. We've got to then come back and fill in the gap at some point to take care of the whole project.
It's kind of like buying a house and waiting on mortgage rates or something everything to line out to get the best deal. Sometimes you don't get it by waiting. And I think this is too important to us to keep pushing down the road. You know, I think we have to move on this.
I do have one question, Bob, on interest rates. How often, I know if interest rates go down, how often can we redo this loan?
We've refinanced, quite a bit of your debt over the years when rates do drop down and save the city billions probably. I mean, if we did a calculation, we would put as short of a window on the transaction, to give you that opportunity to come back and refinance and lower that. If rates did drop down, probably put 5-year, redemption window on that. So if rates drop down, you could come in before the 5-year period, but that's kind of the optimal before the interest rates on the financing start to go up.
And I will say Bob is very good about watching that and letting us know. And it's like, okay, let's look at refinancing this, and this is the amount of money that you're saving the city. They have been excellent in my 28 years. They have been excellent in doing that. So thank you for that.
And there are refinance fees every time we refinance.
Anytime you do a bond issue, there's cost. Yes, ma'am.
Roy, do we have any idea, anything from the rate study? Like maybe it would be available to the public by November if it was on the ballot? So we'd have a little clearer of a picture once it was on the ballot?
I was trying to get an update on that study today for this meeting tonight. I was not able to.
How many times you contacted them, Roy, to get?
Yeah, 5, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, he's
I
several.
know, I've asked him about several, about every month.
Do we have any recourse with them
No.
at all?
And he and I
They're taking
talked
forever.
dozens of times about rate study, the audit and all that. And the same thing, that rate study's gonna come in, and it's still gonna have to be adjusted, because it's, you know, how much is gonna be taken off of the ratepayers of the sales tax, and what's the total project cost to then fit into the rate study. So it's a continued moving target.
So what's the final date as far as getting it on the ballot for us to make the decision?
August the 25th, but
The
Tammy
25th.
wanted it, well, yeah.
It's 70 days, it has to be published 70 days ahead of the election, and with the local paper.
And that's,
You might do something next week, I don't know if you can.
When is that last publication for the newspaper? I know that question's
before
gonna
the,
come up before the
well, the
posting
special
period.
election, I mean, not special, the early voting starts October 19th.
But I mean, the 70 days, I know the newspaper's not gonna print on the 25th. What's the closest date? I think was what Rick's asking. Paper comes out in Clarksville on Wednesday,
Hang on, give me a second.
23rd.
It would have to be done by Friday because it comes out on the 19th.
About the 21st.
Yeah, Friday at the
noon.
14th at noon, because it would come out in the 19th, Wednesday, the 19th paper, because the next Tuesday is the day that, and I'm, you
think that's
don't
what Rick
wanna
was
wait till the 25th to turn your paperwork in.
But I think that's where Rick was.
Yeah, I was just seeing.
So you're looking at 4 days.
Well, that's not gonna help us.
Mhm.
No, I don't think it, so.
I don't think we're gonna get our reports in the next 4 days.
No.
And again, you get the reports in, if you had the reports, the rate study and the audit in front of you tonight, you could make a better guess as to what the ratepayer impact's gonna be. But again, that rate study is going to have to be modified based on, if you take this to the voters and put the sales tax in front of them, and if it passes, what does that sales tax bond issue generate? And that's going to move between now and, probably not gonna issue the debt until January. So that's, you know, when people, you know, are saying, you know, have all the data in front of you before you make the decision, the data's gonna change. That's just the nature of it. If we could pay for all of this with the sales tax, okay, but we can't.
Yeah.
That's why there's multiple balls in the air, and we know that going the sales tax route takes that big of a burden off the ratepayers. That's the one thing that you know for certain. If you don't take it to the voters and you have to do the project, which pretty sure you have to do the project at some point, if it falls on the ratepayers, it's much more costly in other pockets.
Well, there's, in my opinion, there's no use waiting around, you know.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
We have been through this. Of course, I know you haven't been on the council as long, but we have been
We
working
have-
on this for a long time.
And Kebby, that was a good idea. It's a good idea.
No.
I'm fine with it, I just wanted.
Yeah, if it,
Yeah, I just had some questions, I mean, I understand that.
That's a good
it
question.
needs a little bit, just if we could have the votes on it, and I'm good with that.
I mean, there's a,
yeah, it is. I wish we had better information.
We look back and there was, what, a $6 million increase over the last couple of years?
Yeah.
Just by us waiting.
Yep.
We could face another $6 million increase in the next year. But that's based on materials alone.
so there's an impact to our users no matter what. And they're gonna pay the 1% no matter what, either way.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just kinda where I'm coming from. We know the project has to move forward. Our water system can't handle where it's at.
Our users can't.
And our users
handle
can't
the
afford,
impact without the tax.
yeah.
I mean, our elderly and.
Also, Bob, something you might say for whoever's watching tonight, because this is
Angela.
a very,
Get your
oh, sorry. This is a very educational meeting we're having, so if anybody wants to know about this, this is the night to watch it. What you said about other people paying that sales tax, we have travelers and everything else, it's not just gonna be us paying for our own groceries and.
Exactly.
Need to move.
Okay, now, did you see this? Y'all bear with us just a minute because we've, so you want to read the whole thing? Okay. Okay. All right, so go to ordinance number 2026-13. 12, sorry. I turned on 13. I need a motion to read, please.
I will make a motion to read.
I'll second it.
Yates,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Maker,
Yes.
Hyler,
Yes.
Ordinance 2026-12, an ordinance to levy a 1% City of Ozark, Arkansas sales and use tax to establish a system for the rebate required for Act 29 of 1981 for other purposes and declaring an emergency. Whereas the City Council of the City of Ozark, Arkansas, the city, has determined that the city is greatly in need of certain capital improvements of public nature, including particularly without limitation, betterments, improvements, upgrades, and expansion of the city's water and sewer system facilities, the system improvements. And whereas the City Council proposes to finance all or a portion of the cost of the city improvements by the issuance of the city's capital improvement bonds, the bonds, under the authority of Amendment Number 62 to the Constitution of the State of Arkansas, Amendment 62, and each of Title 14, Chapter 164, Subchapter 3 of the Arkansas Code of 87, annotated in Title 26, Chapter 75, Subchapter 2 of the Arkansas Code of 1987, annotated together the authorizing legislation. And whereas in accordance with the authorizing legislation, the City Council has also determined there is a need for general operating fund, included but not limited to funds for the operation and maintenance of the system improvements and other capital improvements and facilities of the city, the operation and maintenance fund. And whereas pursuant to ordinance number 1992-09, adopted by the City Council of the City of August, on August 11, 1992, the city previously levied a citywide 1% sales and use tax under the authority of Title 27, Chapter 75, Subchapter 2 of the Arkansas Code 1987, annotated, which is general sales tax that does not expire and is not tied to or pledged to the repayment of any bonds, the 1992 sales and use tax. And whereas pursuant to ordinance number 2015-05, adopted by the City Council of the city on June 8, 2015, the city previously levied a citywide 1% sales and use tax under the authority of the authorizing legislation, which was approved by a special election of electors of the city held on August 11, 2015, the 2015 sales and use tax. And whereas the 2015 sales and use tax is used and allocated as follows: A, 0.875%, i.e. 7/8 to the payment of principal and interest on the city's sales and use tax bonds, Series 2016, the Series 2016 bonds, which were issued for the purpose of financing certain recreational improvements and emergency services facilities, more particularly described in ordinance number 2015-05, which portion of the 2015 sales and use tax was issued under the authority of Title 14, Chapter 164, Subchapter 3 of the Arkansas Code of 1987 annotated, expires on the last day of the last month of calendar quarter in which the Series 2016 bonds or any bonds issued in refunding thereof have been retired. And B, 0.125%, i.e. 1/8 to the operation of maintenance fund to fund the city's general operation, including but not limited to funds for the operation and maintenance of the system improvements and other city facilities, and to pay the principal of the interest on the Series 2016 bonds, which portion of the 2015 and sales and use tax was issued under authority of Title 26, Chapter 75, Subchapter 2 of the Arkansas Code of 1987 annotated, and does not expire. And whereas the city can pay the principal of and interest on the bonds and can fund the operation and maintenance costs of the system improvements and other city facilities from the proceeds of the citywide 1% sales and use tax to be levied under authority of the authorizing legislation, the replacement tax, which shall extend and replace the 2015 sales and use tax. And whereas the city has determined to levy the replacement tax, and whereas proceeds of the replacement tax will be used and allocated to as follows. Allocated as follows: A, 0.875%, i.e. 7/8 to the payment of principal and interest on the bonds under the authority of Title 14, Chapter 164, Subchapter 3 of the Arkansas Code of 1987 annotated, in which portion of the replacement tax shall expire on the last day of the last month of the calendar quarter in which the bonds or any bonds issued and refunding thereof have been retired. And B, 0.125%, i.e. 1/8 to the operation and maintenance fund to the fund the city's general operations, including but not limited to funds for the operation and maintenance of the system improvements and other city facilities, and to pay the principal and interest on the bonds under the authority of Title 26, Chapter 75, Subchapter 2 of the Arkansas Code of 1987 annotated, which portion of new sales tax shall not expire. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Ozark, Arkansas, Section 1, sales tax levy. There is hereby levied a citywide excise sales tax of 1% upon the gross receipts from the sale at retail within the City of Ozark, Arkansas, on or after the expiration of the 2015 sales and use tax of all items that are now subject or may hereafter be subject to the Arkansas gross receipts tax as provided by Arkansas Act 25 of 1981, the forced extraordinary session, the sales tax. Section 2, use and tax levy. There is hereby levied a citywide excise use tax upon the storage, use, or consumption within the City of Ozark, Arkansas, of tangible personal property purchased, leased, or rented from any retailer outside the state on or after the expiration of the 2015 sales and use tax for storage, use, or other consumption in the city at the rate of 1% of the sales price of the property, or in the case of leases or rentals of said lease or rental price as provided by Arkansas Act 25 of 1981, first extraordinary session, the use tax, and together with the sales tax, the replacement tax. Section 3, compliance with acts. The levy, exemption from, and collection of the citywide replacement tax imposed by this ordinance shall be made in accordance with A, all applicable definitions and other provisions of Arkansas Gross Receipts Act of 1941, Arkansas Code annotated 2652-101 at sequence as amended, and the Arkansas Compensating Tax Act of 1949, Arkansas Code annotated 2653-101 at sequence as amended. B, the existing rules and regulations pertaining to the Arkansas Gross Receipts Tax and the Arkansas Compensating Tax as promulgated by the Department of Finance and Administration, Division of Revenue, State of Arkansas, and C, the provisions of Act 25 of 1981, first extraordinary session. Section 4, rebate. A person from whom taxes levied by this ordinance shall have been collected may be entitled to a rebate for taxes paid on gross receipts, gross proceeds, or sale price in excess of $2,500 from the sale of A, a motor vehicle, B, or aircraft, C, watercraft, D, modular home, E, manufactured home, or F, mobile home in accordance with Arkansas Code annotated 2675-222. Section 5, use of replacement tax. The replacement tax shall be used and allocated as follows: 0.875%, i.e. 7/8 to the payment of principal and interest on the bonds, which portion of the replacement tax shall expire on the last day of the last month of calendar quarter in which the bonds or any bonds issued and refunding thereof shall have been retired, and B, 0.125%, i.e. 1/8 of the operation and maintenance fund to be fund the city's general operation, including but not limited to funds for the operation and maintenance of the system improvements and other capital improvements and facilities of the city, and to pay for the principal and interest on the bonds, which portion of the replacement tax shall not expire. Section 6, effective replacement tax. If the bonds are approved by the electors of the city, and if bonds are issued, then the 2015 sales and use tax shall be expire on the last day of the last month of calendar quarter in which the city's outstanding Series 2016 bonds are refunded, so that 2015 sales and use tax and replacement tax are not in effect at the same time. Collections of the 2015 sales and use tax received after the date of bonds are issued shall be used, if necessary or appropriate, to provide for the payment of the bonds. Section 7, severability. Any part of this ordinance is held invalid. Such invalidity shall not affect any other portion of this ordinance that can be made effective without invalidity. Section 8, repealer. All ordinance and parts thereof in conflict hereof are hereby repealed to the extent such conflict. Section 9, emergency clause. It is hereby ascertained and declared the levy of the replacement tax provided for this ordinance is necessary to the preservation of the public health, peace, and welfare of the inhabitants of the city. It is therefore declared that an emergency exists, and this ordinance, being necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, and safety, shall take effect and be enforced from and after the passage and approval. Passed August 10th, 2026. Approved, Mayor Roxy Hall. Attest, City Clerk Susan Stevens.
Pop quiz in 5 minutes.
Good question.
Okay.
I may be wrong, but I think section 4 is it not 4,000 now instead of 2,500 when you buy a used car? It is, so do we need to change that?
We could pass with correction, I guess.
I don't know if that applies to everything, I just know that is vehicles now.
This is a sales tax exemption. You're talking about the sales tax on buying a used vehicle. This is a different sales tax. If I go out and spend $10,000 on a specific item, the first $2,500 is subject to the city tax, but anything above that is subject to the state tax.
Okay.
This is the $2,500 exemption on the first $2,500.
I didn't know that existed, but
Yeah.
thank you.
You need a motion to dispense with the second and third reading and read by title only.
So moved.
Need a second, please?
Second.
Hyler,
Yes.
Maker,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Ordinance 2026-12, an ordinance to levy a 1% City of Ozark, Arkansas sales and use tax to establish a system for the rebate required by Act 29 of 1981 for other purposes and declaring an emergency.
Need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Yates,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Hyler,
Yes.
Maker.
Yes.
You can do the same thing on this one. Okay. I am gonna just add this in here, and I want to commend Mr. Brockett, because at our league meeting in June, they had told us that you can dispense with reading all of this information, but because this is so vital, and Mr. Brockett did not want to do that. He wanted to read every word of this. So, thank you for the transparency and letting people hear this. So, this will be ordinance 2026-13, and I need a motion to read, please.
I'll make a motion to read.
I need a second.
Second.
Yates,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Maker,
Yes.
Hyler.
Yes.
Ordinance 2026-13, an ordinance calling a special election in the city of Ozark, Arkansas, for the purpose of submitting to the electors of the city the questions of issuing bonds under amendment number 62 to the Constitution of the state of Arkansas for the purpose of financing the cost of various capital improvements, levying a 1% sales and use tax, of which 7/8 shall be used for the purpose of retiring such bonds, and 1/8 shall be permanent, declaring an emergency and prescribing other matters pertaining thereto. Whereas pursuant to ordinance 2026-12, adopted August 10th, 2026, the City Council of the City of Ozark, Arkansas, the city, levied a 1% citywide local sales and use tax on the receipts from the sales at retail within the city of all items which are subject to taxation under the Arkansas Gross Receipts Act of 1941 as amended, Arkansas Code annotated 2652-101 at sequence, and the receipts from storing, using, distributing, or consuming within the city tangible personal property, and with Arkansas Compensating Tax Act of 1949 as amended, Arkansas Code annotated 2653-101 et sequem. And whereas the City Council of the City of Ozark, Arkansas, the city, has determined that the city is greatly in need of certain capital improvements of a public nature, including particularly without limitation, betterments, improvements, upgrades, and expansion of the city's water and sewer system facilities, the system improvements. And whereas the City Council of the city has determined that the system improvements can be immediately financed without a tax increase if all of the city's sales and use tax bonds, Series 2016, the existing bonds, are refunded, the refunding. And whereas the existing bonds are secured by and payable from the collections of a 1% citywide sales and use tax levied under ordinance number 2015-05, adopted by the City Council of the city on June 8, 2015, which was approved by special election of electors of the city held on August 11, 2015, the 2015 sales and use tax, which is allocated and used as follows: 0.875%, i.e. 7/8 to the payment of principal and interest on the existing bonds, with portion of the tax shall expire on the last day of the last month of calendar quarter in which such bonds or any bonds issued and refunding thereof have been retired, and B, 0.125%, i.e. 1/8 to the operation and maintenance of the improvements financed by the existing bonds and other city facilities, and to pay the principal of and interest on the existing bonds, which portion of the tax does not expire. Whereas the City Council of the city has determined that it would be in the best interest of the residents of the city to finance the amount necessary to fund the system improvement and the refunding by the issuance of a sales and use tax improvement and refunding bonds in the maximum principal amount of $20,825,000, the new sales tax bonds, under the authority of Amendment Number 62 to the Constitution of the State of Arkansas, Amendment 62, and each of Title 14, Chapter 164, Subchapter 3 of the Arkansas Code 1987, annotated, the General Authority, and Title 26, Chapter 75, Subchapter 2 of the Arkansas Code of 1987, annotated, Capital Improvements Authority, and together with the General Authority authorizing legislation allocated as follows: $2,825,000 in maximum principal amount for the refunding, and B, $18 million in maximum principal amount for the system improvements, which principal amounts include expenses of authorizing issuing the new sales tax bonds, bond insurance, and debt service reserve or debt service reserve insurance policy therefore, and whereas the city can pay the principal and interest on the new sales tax bonds from the proceeds of the following, collectively the replacement tax: A, 0.875%, i.e. 7/8 sales and use tax to be levied under the authority of the authorizing legislation, specifically the Capital Improvement Authority, to the payment of principal and interest on the new sales tax bonds, which portion of the tax shall expire on the last day of the last month of the calendar quarter in which such bonds or any bonds issued and refunding thereof have been retired, and B, 0.125%, i.e. 1/8 sales and use tax to be levied under the authority of the authorizing legislation, specifically the General Authority, and to the operation and maintenance of the system improvements financed by the new sales tax bonds and other city facilities, and to pay the principal and interest on the new sales tax bonds, which portion of the tax shall not expire. And whereas the city can pay the principal and interest on the new sales tax bonds from any further secure of the new sales tax bonds by the net collections from the replacement tax, which will replace the 2015 sales and use tax. And whereas the purpose of this ordinance is to submit to the electors of the city the questions of issuing the new sales tax bonds for the system improvements and the refunding under Amendment 62, and the authorizing legislation that a special election be called for that purpose and to levy the replacement tax. Now therefore, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Ozark, Arkansas, Section 1, special election, there be and there is hereby called a special election to be held on November 3rd, 2026, at which election there shall be submitted to the electors of the city the questions of issuing the new sales tax bonds under Amendment 62 and the authorizing legislation to pay all or a portion of the cost in accomplishing the refunding and the system improvements in the maximum principal amounts described above, to be payable in whole or in part from collections of replacement tax remaining after the state of Arkansas deducts its administrative charges and required rebates. Section 2, levy. In order to provide for the payment of the principal of and interest on the new sales tax bonds and all obligations of the city in connection herewith, the City Council of the city has levied the replacement tax in accordance with Ordinance 2026-12 adopted on August 10th, 2026. The levy of the replacement tax shall not become effective until the special election called in Section 1 above has been held and the issuance of bonds for one or both of the purposes approved by the voters. Provided, however, that no new sales tax bonds will be issued unless the issuance of the new sales tax bonds for each of the refunding and the system improvements are both approved. The effective date of the replacement tax will be the day following the date the 2015 sales and use tax expires. The replacement tax shall be levied and collected on the gross receipts, gross proceeds, or sale price in the maximum amount allowed from time to time by Arkansas law, subject to rebates and limitations as from time to time required by the Arkansas statutes for certain single transactions. Section 3, new sales tax bond ballot approval form. The question of levying the replacement tax and issuing the new sales tax bond should be placed on the ballot for the election in substantially the following form, which such changes as the Franklin County Board of Election Commissioner may require. The bonds required below that are approved may be combined into a single issue or may be issued in series from time to time. The city currently has in place a 1% citywide sales and use tax levied under ordinance number 2015-05 adopted by the City Council of the city on June 8, 2015, which was approved by the special election of the electors of the city held on August 11, 2015, 2015 sales and use tax. No bond shall be issued for any purpose unless each of the refunding bonds and the system improvement bonds are both approved. If both the refunding bonds and the system improvement bonds are approved, then there will be levied a replacement 1% sales and use tax within the city, the replacement tax, the net collections of which remaining after the state of Arkansas deducts its administrative charges and required rebates will be used and allocated A, 7/8 solely to retire the bonds and obligations of the city with respect thereto, and shall expire on the last day of the last month of the calendar quarter in which such bonds or any bonds issued and refunding thereof have been retired, and B, 1/8 to the operation and maintenance of system improvements and other city facilities, and to pay the principal of and interest in such bonds, which portion of the tax will not expire. The replacement tax will replace the 2015 sales and use tax. If the refunding bonds and the system improvement bonds are not both approved, then the 2015 sales and use tax will remain in place along with the city's currently existing bonding authority with respect to the 2015 sales and use tax. The effective date of the replacement sales and use tax, if approved, will be the day following the date the existing 2015 sales and use tax expires. Refunding bonds and replacement tax. Vote for or against an issue of bonds of the city of Ozark in the maximum principal amount of $2,825,000 for the purpose of refunding the city's outstanding sales and use tax bonds, Series 2016. And in order to pay and secure the bonds, the levy and pledge of the new 1% replacement tax within the city. For or against. System improvement bonds and replacement tax. Vote for or against an issue of bonds of the city of Ozark in the maximum principal amount of $18 million for the purpose of financing betterments, improvements, upgrades, and expansion of the city's water and sewer system facilities, and in order to pay and secure the bonds, the levy and pledge of a new 1% replacement tax within the city. For or against. Section 3, election procedures. The election shall be held and conducted, and the vote canvassed and the results declared under law in the manner now provided for municipal elections unless otherwise provided in the authorizing legislation, and only qualified voters of the city shall have the right to vote at the election. Section 4, election results. The results of the election shall be proclaimed by the mayor, and his proclamation shall be published one time in a newspaper having a general circulation in the city, which proclamation shall advise that the results as proclaimed shall be conclusive unless attacked in the courts within 30 days after the date of the publication. Section 5, filing of an ordinance in advance of election. A copy of this ordinance shall be filed with the Franklin County Clerk at least 70 days prior to the date of the special election. A copy of this ordinance shall be given to the Franklin County Board of Election Commissioners so that the necessary election officials and supplies may be provided. A certified copy of this ordinance shall also be provided to the Commissioner of Revenues of the state of Arkansas as soon as practicable. Section 6, effect of replacement tax. If the new sales tax bonds are approved by the electors of the city, and if the new sales tax bonds are issued, the 2015 sales and use tax shall be expired on the last day of the last month of the calendar quarter in which the city's outstanding existing bonds are refunded, so that the 2015 sales and use tax and the replacement tax are not in effect at the same time. Collections of the 2015 sales and use tax received after the date that the new sales tax bonds are issued shall be used, if necessary or appropriate, to provide for the payment of the new sales tax bonds. Section 7, further acts. The mayor and the city clerk for and on behalf of the city be, and they are hereby authorized and directed to do any and all things necessary to call and hold the special election as provided, as herein provided, and to perform all acts of whatever nature necessary to carry out the authority conferred by this ordinance. Section 8, underwriter bond counsel. The city has selected the firm of Cruz and Associates, Inc. to be underwriter of the new sales tax bonds, the underwriter, and the law firm of Mitchell, Williams, Seeley, Gates, and Woodward, PLLC, to be bond counsel for the new sales tax bond counsel. Section 9, repealer. All ordinances and part thereof in conflict herewith are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict. Section 10, emergency clause. It is hereby ascertained and declared that the special election provided for in this ordinance is necessary for the preservation of the public health, peace, and welfare of the inhabitants of the city. It is therefore declared that an emergency exists, and this ordinance being necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, and safety shall take effect and be enforced from and after its passage and approval. Passed August 10th, 2026. Approved, Mayor Roxy Hall. Attest, City Clerk Susan Season.
Need a motion to dispense with the second and third reading and read by title only, please.
So moved.
I second.
Tyler.
Yes.
Maker.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Ordinance 2026-13, an ordinance calling a special election in the city of Ozark, Arkansas, for the purpose of submitting to the electors of the city the questions of issuing bonds under amendment number 62 to the Constitution for the state of Arkansas, for the purpose of financing the cost of various capital improvements, levying a 1% sales and use tax, of which 7/8 shall be used for the purpose of retiring such bonds, and a 1/8 shall be permanent, declaring an emergency and prescribing other matters pertaining thereto.
Need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Need a second.
I'll second.
Yates.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Maker.
Yes.
Susan will get this information to Tammy tomorrow.
Roxy, it's still in there on page 3. You need to correct that. And that big paragraph, 4 lines down from replacement tax, says there to sand haul, should be and shell.
Yeah, I read it correctly. I think you can pass it as amended, or as read, because I read it correctly.
Okay.
So you can, might be best to do a motion to approve as read instead of as written.
Okay, I need a motion to approve as read as opposed to as written.
I will make a motion to approve as read.
I need a second, please.
Second.
Yates.
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Maker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Next, under old business, Curtis had called and asked to come to the August 24th meeting. Thank you. We'll be in touch. So he will not be here tonight. Next on the agenda, item C is the Model Cafe update. This was requested by Councilmember Angela Harris. Nick, if you will come to the podium, please.
I was able to speak with the owner of the Mall Cafe, Mr. West. Unfortunately, I don't really have much more update than I did from the last time. There has been no other action taken on this for construction or any kind of remodel or anything. He did say, after doing more inspection and during the demo and cleanup, that he's determined that the whole roof needs to be replaced. He's only gotten one bid from someone to replace the roof, and he said it was in the neighborhood of $50,000 to replace the roof on that building. He's currently looking for some other folks to take a bid on those buildings. And he's open to any suggestions on contractors or anything.
So we're gonna open up for discussion.
He still doesn't know what he's gonna do.
My concern is how long it's taken. We've said provisions in when we did this. And there's been no progress in at least 3 months. We put the provisions in there for a reason.
I think the completion date, I believe, in the contract was a year. So I think we signed for the building January of this year.
January 6th.
Yep.
I thought in the, you probably researched this more than I have, Angela, but I thought in the provisions, you had to at least be started going within 90 days.
If you look at the timeline that I sent, he signed the deed on January 5th, and then April 6th was the 91st day, and fines should start incurring if there's not significant progress in building the business, or bringing the building up to code. I copied that directly off the contract. And then the original 90 days will be followed by a period of 6 months to show significant progress in bringing the building up to code. October 5th will be 6 months from the original 90 days. And then we need to know what the plans are after that, because we haven't found him at all. And it seems like every time he just tells Nick that he's deciding what to do, trying to decide what to do.
He did do a permit on the demolition. We got that started. Spoke with him. Yeah, go ahead and do a demo permit, because he, you know, he didn't have any building plans or even any idea what he was gonna do. Told him, I said, yeah, do the demolition permit, and then when it come time to do the actual remodel, then he would, you know, get the appropriate permits. That there's been no more permits pulled or.
Has he finished his demolition?
Not necessarily if he needs to replace the whole roof. I mean, I feel for him. He's in it's a bad position on them buildings, but he knew what he signed up for when he purchased it.
Yeah.
Is my other stance also.
Yeah. That's mine. You knew what you were looking at when you got into it.
Yeah. And that's the reason we put stipulations on it, so we didn't have another one just sitting there doing nothing.
Vacant.
I mean,
Well,
I
I'm
could
not
find
sure.
some roofers and give him some ideas, but I think he could do that himself, really.
Mhm. So I don't know where to go from here, but I think we need to start pushing him somehow to do something.
Maybe a first fine, since we could have started that in April, and now we're in August.
Not too far from October.
Yeah.
What does a fine mean? I
And
mean,
we
what-
didn't decide
what
the
did
fine
we-
either, did we?
No, because we discussed at that time, if it got to that point, we would decide what a fine would be. So actually, there's not anything established. How do you fine?
Well, you have a city ordinance that sets out all sorts of different fines, and one of them is an
Right,
ongoing
but-
fine of $500 per day.
Oh, jeez.
Because
So-
I've got several people in district court that I'm pursuing right now, and they can be up to $500 per day.
I'd be finding a roofer quick.
So I have a question for Nick. So bringing the building up to code, so we realize he doesn't know what he wants to do with it. So bringing the building up to code, does he really have to know what he's gonna do with it? That's a completely different.
Yeah,
I would say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it depends on the code, but, I mean, what were we talking about?
You have the plumbing code, you have
Plumbing
electric
code,
code, so
electric code.
he's gotta know where building walls are gonna be, where bathrooms gonna be. I mean, he's gotta know all of that before he really does that, and
You really, it depends, you know, like you said, what's code? Well, it depends on, are you gonna build a restaurant, or are you gonna build
Shooting range?
a shooting
Not a
range?
shooting, a golf simulator, that's what I was trying to say.
Anything, you know, if there's, code is, code's code, you know, just depends on what you're building.
But we've got to be fair along the lines too, if we're holding other people accountable.
Especially 'cause, I mean, it's coming up again, that's what's on the agenda, I
start to ask, when was the last time something was actually done in there?
Been well over 3 months.
Because he did an excellent job. He pulled in a trailer and, I mean, they cleaned out. So we all really were thinking he's gonna take some action on it. It got cleaned out and then it was just at a standstill. And, I mean, I do know Nick reached out to him on several occasions.
So what's the, what do we consider significant progress?
My significant progress was building plans, clear set of building plans approved. You know, he's got his, plumbing approved through the state, you know. A clear work plan.
He don't even have a plan
He
at this
doesn't have
point.
a plan to know what he's gonna do.
The resolution we put in, it says to have 90 days to have building permits, plans, and a contractor's in place.
And the significant progress should be physical progress.
And fines will begin on the 91st day if not compliant.
So, 6 months is up in October the 5th.
Yes. After the original 90 days, so it's
Yeah.
actually 9 months.
Oh, yeah.
So he's already at 7 months from the beginning.
So, some sort of action definitely needs to be taken from October 5th.
I would say from your own stipulation, he's in violation of it, because no plans and contractors are not in place.
Yeah.
And that was required by the 90th day, or on the 91st day, fines would be levied.
How will that work as far as the ticketing go or fining, since he's,
Well, we have a city ordinance with regards to like abandoned buildings, brush, or anything's falling inside. I mean, that's.
I guess the question I was asking
We haven't
predecessor,
written.
we couldn't really send fines and stuff through the mail and such, so you've got all these property owners and they live in Tulsa and they live everywhere else, well, they hadn't been those aren't in 10 years, but they own all this commercial property.
They're still writing tickets. I don't know why he wouldn't send them. I'd send them. We're gonna send them a summons and they're gonna show up to court. If they don't show up to court, then they're gonna get contempt of court.
So Kevin brought us in, we couldn't send city ordinances through the mail unless the city council passed some kind of ordinance.
Bring me a summons and a complaint. We'll go to court and get a complaint against her. Exactly. We'll do that again. I don't have a problem with that. Write the complaint up and we'll take it and get the judge to sign off on it.
Do you know where Mr. West lives, Nick? Or do you, Roxy?
Mailing address is public knowledge on the, left my phone in there, I looked it up.
It's in northwest Arkansas somewhere.
You may be watching tonight, hopefully.
I'm glad he wants to invest in downtown, but he needs to move a little bit.
Yep.
I start to say, I don't think.
He bought it knowing what your resolution says.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
That's my
Follow the
point.
resolution.
I feel for him, I do, but he bought it knowing what we wanted.
And
So,
we started holding other building owners accountable, so.
I say we move forward with it.
Work up a fine.
Or whatever
However
you just told him.
Yeah.
I have
We
a
can't retroact the fine.
telephone number, I just don't have his address.
We just gotta go forward. We can't be
Yeah.
retroactive. I
Yeah.
mean, starting now.
It's starting at this point.
Yeah.
We need that in the form of motion, don't
So
we?
what's the first, how's it gonna be initiated? Who is
Well,
that?
we'll need to make a
Is that-
motion to move forward with this from this point forward. And then Devin or Nick, they can write it up and Christopher can send it to him.
I'll make a motion that we move forward with fines
a second?
Minor,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Maker,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
So, try to get that written up tomorrow and get that to Mr. Brockett. I'd like to have it in his hands by Wednesday if possible.
I bet I can get with them.
Yeah, give it to Devin, y'all can come up with.
Okay?
I have a quick question there. Is that building locked up from the street? Or is it still open? Do you know?
I believe the front door is locked.
The front door is locked and there is a sign that says not responsible for accidents. The plaque is still there.
Boarded up.
Okay.
It's not secured.
Is there, he's got a demolition permit, is it visible?
I don't remember.
I think it's on the inside where
I
the,
put it on the window, at one point it was.
Yeah, I've been by there and I've
where
not seen
that
it.
bar used to
That
be sitting
whiteboard,
there.
I think it's on that whiteboard.
I think it's on that white, yeah.
Be a yellow, like a yellow.
And front, on the front window? Okay.
It's not hanging in the window. You have to look inside to see it.
You gotta look through to see it.
Yeah,
So what's the requirement supposed to be? Is it supposed to be visible to the public?
it is.
You shouldn't have to go look for it.
Thank
That
you.
will,
You guys take questions on this issue, or is that, doesn't have to be discussed ahead of time? Come on, you already.
okay, go.
Well, I'm just wondering, as a new business owner downtown, and we've got a building.
Can I just ask one question? Do you care to come to the microphone for the people that are listening, please? Thank you.
Cindy Spidler, Foxy Goose, downtown. I'm wondering about this building. When we moved in and got our inspections, Nick told us the bookstore a few doors down from us was the biggest fire hazard in Franklin County. But nothing's, I don't know what to do to try to figure out why is it not important enough to be secured, be boarded up, be safe for all of us that have businesses right next to it. But then this one, they're gonna get fined. I mean, there's a building across from us on the other side that has a tree growing through it, and there's no roof. And they're not getting any fines to
Nothing.
update their place. So I'm not understanding, I mean, you know, well, I just really kind of want to know for my own purposes of, you know, people come into our store every single day and ask what's going on down here. Why are these buildings vacant? Why are they full of junk? Why are there trees growing through the and I don't have any answers. I mean, I've had a place here for 15 years, but I didn't spend a lot of time in town. We were on the water and we just went to our place. And now that I have a business in town, I'm really truly just trying to understand what can I do and what are the answers?
I'm just going to tell you, and I may be speaking out of turn, but I think the statement that Mr. Brockett just made of get me the information and I will get it to the owner, that gentleman right back there, the chief will do it. Do not by any means be discrediting previous attorneys, but I feel like I know we've had a couple of situations just in the short time that he has been here that he's got on it. And we can move forward with that from here because Devin heard what Mr. Brockett told him. And I think you're going to see within the next 30 to 60 days a huge difference. Devin's going to bombard him with letters, I can promise you.
Well, I mean, and that's what my attorney told me. I needed the freedom of information in the city and ask what has been requested of these buildings, you know, that create a hazard for us as a new business. But I'd hate to start my time in Ozark questions about things that, you know, are really are mine to handle. That's what you all do, so.
Devin, come up here and get in the mic for people, please. I'm sorry.
You got a finger snap. I can't even do that anymore.
So there's a lot of houses that's there, we've got several of them torn down, we're still working on other ones, there's businesses downtown the same way that we try to work on, just like Tasty Freeze, some different places. What makes this one different, why he's getting fined, is because whenever they bought that, there was an agreement made that we'd have to so long to get it finished and do something with it, because it was downtown, and there is a lot of buildings down there. So,
And the city
that's
owned
why
it. The city
this-
owned it, that's the
this is
kicker.
a little bit different, huh?
Because the city owned it and we sold it, that's the kicker.
Yes, the city had it, so they decided to put some kind of a deal in agreement, whoever bought it had a certain amount of time to fix that and clean that up.
I mean, I made the assumption there were no city ordinances if you had buildings with trees in the middle and the bookstore with the books falling out and water pouring in, and I just assumed that they just didn't do that. But you're saying we do.
We do.
The city does.
What complicates it is like what's the building downtown that we're fixing on?
Carter Building.
Kimbrough Building, Carter.
It's taking forever to get all the people and stuff, because it's not one person responsible for it, it's a group of people. It's heirs and everything else, and most of those don't live around here, so. We've got people living in California and different places. We've got, house on Spring Street that, is in the process of being sold, another one, we're fixing auction off. We have the two houses in front of the funeral home, we've had a lot of places. We've got, some of the federal government owns some of the houses here, and we're trying to get something done with those. And they've been in Pleasant Homes, they've owned them for several years. And we're on them all the time, trying to get, one of them needs a new roof on it, and it's just, it's not something easy because it's somebody else's property. So, we are working on it. But anybody else?
Thank you, Devin.
I've seen you a lot lately at Tasty Freeze. Are you getting somewhere with that?
We're starting to do something with it, so we'll see.
Did you not send a letter?
it
Or
looks
yes.
nice.
There again, we have tried. I'm just gonna say this. Devin and I have tried for over 6-8 months. I even messaged the gentleman and I said, listen, if Devin doesn't hear you by Friday, I'm turning this over to the attorney, okay? Got no response. I mean, you wanna talk about ignoring us? He was ignoring both of us. Phone calls from here, he was. Mr. Brockett gets on it. I drive by, literally almost hit the stop sign because I'm looking back. They had that quick after Mr. Brockett got on there, got a letter. Look at it tonight when you go home. There's a new fence, they've weed eated, they've moved the pile of dirt.
Pulled out many loads of trees.
Yes,
Many.
yes. So, like I said to you earlier, I think now just what was said in here tonight, that give him the paperwork and he will do it. I'm pumped, I'm excited. Get to where they can send tickets or warnings and violations, because in the past we had been told you do not send that through the mail. But he just said now get him the paperwork, and you may be seeing a lot of cleanup downtown.
Get Devin some addresses, but you see.
He don't need addresses, he's already got the file ready.
She was asking what paperwork you're talking about she needs.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
If that was your question, right? You're asking what paperwork she was asking of you? And I will say Devin and Nick and Chris, they work strategically on this quite often.
We've been working on some of these places since 2017, trying to get something done. So we've got several houses and stuff cleaned up. We've got some businesses. It's just a lot.
Well, the buildings are historic, right? I mean, they're special because these are historic buildings. I just made assumptions that they'd have to be taken care of.
Only
No.
some of them, they're in the historic district because of Main Street Ozark, but that doesn't mean they're historical. Very few of them are listed on National Historic Registry, so, just because they're in the historic district doesn't mean that there's anything special that has to be done with them.
But, I mean, you've been by the bookstore in the alley, right?
Absolutely. That-
have to be new in town and say something.
We actually had a city council meeting back there in plastic seats and chairs one day, in the
Mhm.
heat, last summer.
In the heat, we did.
Yeah.
It's better now than it was a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so next on the agenda is the Kimbrough Building auction update. Mr., which one of you two are going to talk? Not you? Okay. You're just here for the,
So we talked
Yes.
last month about doing the discussion about a reserve tonight. About a week or so ago, an idea popped in my head about it, what to do instead of that. And so I bounced it off Christopher just to see how it sounded legality-wise, are we good? And he felt like it was a good option. And our thought was, instead of setting a reserve tonight as a council, that's gonna be, that is public and everybody knows the reserve amount, let's do this. Let's sell it at auction the 20th, with the understanding that the high bid will go to council for their approval. That it's not sold until the council approves that amount. Then we're getting the most that somebody's gonna give, and we can come to you with that. At that point, it's an easy decision to be able to, well, not an easy decision, but it's an easier decision, okay, we've got this amount at auction. We can either take this amount, or we can not take this amount, and then we can list it. So the final authority and approval lies with you guys. It would just be, we would sell it with the understanding to those that were bidding, we're selling this with the high bid that will then go to the council. So you're not purchasing it right now. We're gonna, we'll sign the paperwork and the documents, but the council has final approval to tell us whether or not we're selling it, based on this number. And so that was our thought, to do that. And then part two of that would be to go ahead and have a special council meeting quickly. Our hope was maybe that night, since we're doing it at 6 o'clock with auction, it will not take long. Both properties will be done and out of there by 6:30 easy. Maybe come back to City Hall, have a 7 o'clock meeting with the understanding there's gonna be a special meeting at 7 to discuss that as a council and consider whether or not we like the price or wanna approve it. When you do it is up to you guys, obviously, and we'll work with whatever. I thought that might be convenient. I knew school was in session, and I'm not as in tune with schedules as I used to be with school, and I was afraid Friday night there'd be a game, and I didn't want to be interfering with school activities. I knew probably several of you would already be at the auction anyway. I thought so it might be an easy option to do it. But that's our thought. That was our proposal to you guys to want to see if that's something that you thought was good. We feel like it's a good option. Christopher, you felt like there wasn't an issue?
It's similar to like a probate. You know, a lot of probates that I have when I sell property, it's always subject to court approval. So it would be similar in this situation. You make your highest and best bid, and then we take it back to the city council and decide if the city council wants to approve it. It may not be every penny that we want, or it may be more, but, you know, it's close enough that instead of listing it, it might be better just to go ahead and let it go at that time.
Now, can we, since we said we were gonna sell it at reserve last fall, and we were gonna set that reserve, can we change that now?
You can, because it's up to you on how you're gonna handle the auction. So if you're making it subject to the city council approval, that's what's gonna be announced.
I just knew we'd announced we were gonna set a reserve, so.
Right, originally, because we didn't know what that number was gonna be, but, you know, now that we've, come up with this scenario, we can say, you know, it's gonna be sold at auction, subject to the city council approval.
so before we go any further discussion, I think we need to let Ms. White, because she had asked to bring this up, so I think we need to let her.
Well, this has been fun. I'm gonna save everybody a lot of time here, okay? What we are proposing as an AMP is that an AMP is a city entity. I want you to understand that. It's not just some civic organization. We are a city entity, and we are funded through a 1% tax that you pay. That businesses in the hospitality industry in this town pay, okay? If we were to disband, all the money would go back to the city. That's as clear as I can be. So, as a city entity that does have a statute that tells us by the state that our commission, our purpose is to help grow, develop, bring in tourism, and I want you guys to know, contrary to everything that's been said here tonight, the thing that must happen to this town is it has to grow. It has to grow. And you don't want your meter to go up to $70? Well, then let's get some houses going up. Let's get some apartments going up. Let's get some things happening and stop fighting the growth and making it so hard for anybody to do anything, okay? And I just want to say, as a city entity, we would like to propose, and this is just a proposal. Okay, we understand you have a contract with Mark. We understand you have contracts with them. Of course you do, and we wouldn't ask you not to go according to what those contracts say. But very clearly, what my proposal stated, and everybody on the city council got a copy of this, and since you guys did not, I'm going to read it. Okay, it is recognized by the city council of the city of Ozark, Arkansas, a proposal entitled, a proposal stating the sale of certain real property now owned by the city of Ozark, Arkansas, located at 218 West Commercial Street, Ozark, Franklin County, Arkansas, the same being known as the Kimbrough Building. Section 1, the mayor is hereby authorized to contract reading auction services to sell the certain real property owned by the city of Ozark, Arkansas, located at 218 West Commercial Street, Ozark, Franklin County, Arkansas, at public auction as directed by city ordinance in the July 2026 city council meeting. Section 2, and there it is, I want you to look at the end of that sentence, you can omit that says, in the event the reserve not met. Just take that out. Section 2, the auction is to be held on August 20th, 2026. The auction reserve will be established at the Ozark City Council meeting on August 10th, 2026. Should the reserve be met at the auction on August 20th, 2026, and said building to be developed into a usable and sustainable business, meaning it's not to be used as a storage unit. We want it to be used for some retail, something that's going to bring business and focus downtown and honor the $150,000 that the city's already put into that building while it was sitting empty for 25 years. Empty. Excuse me. Should the reserve be met at the auction on August 20th, 2026, and said building to be developed into a usable and sustainable business endeavor, we, the Advertising and Promotion Commission, will accept and stand with the city of Ozark on the sale of the said building should it be used for those purposes. Why would you want to sell a building you had all this investment in for $30,000? That's not even good business, and I'm not even a money person. Should the reserve not be met at Reading Auction Service and Riverbend Realty have a 6-month commitment to be the selling agent of the property. Section 3, should the reserve not be met at said auction on August 20th, 2026, and the Ozark Advertising and Promotion Commission of Ozark, Franklin County, Arkansas, would then request permission to enter into negotiations for the said property. The city's contract with Reading lays out opportunity for the city to receive part of their fees for the property not selling at auction due to not meeting the reserve. Recognition and appreciation of the substantial investment already put into the building by the city of Ozark will be duly noted and affirmed. We need to realize the city has already put hundreds of dollars into this building, thousands of dollars into this building. I've had the opportunity to look at it and go inside. You can ask John Carter, when we went inside, our brains just started dreaming. I mean, we were thinking of all these things we could do with it. So it looks like an empty building to somebody else, but to us it's got purpose. And we can see that. Section 4, if negotiation transfer agreement between the City of Ozark and the Ozark Advertising and Promotion Commission is accepted, it is agreed that the said property would then be owned by the Ozark Advertising and Promotion Commission, thus removing all expectations of ownership and any financial responsibility for said property from the City of Ozark to stated Advertising and Promotion Commission. We could write it off your books and you're not going to be responsible for it anymore as a city council. It is a foundational principle of the Greater Arkansas Advertising and Promotion Commission to use the 1% advertising and promotion hospitality tax for the development or building of a community convention event center. Creation of such a center would allow for groups to be able to meet on our town square and take advantage of the ample opportunities our city and area afford. The AMP offices would be established in the said property, as well as public restrooms for square events and tourism traffic, thereby allowing for security and maintenance of said facilities. We desperately need bathrooms downtown for our square gatherings and everything else. There are none. Event and meeting space would be available, as well as future office and or incubator vending spaces when necessary. Section 6, should said agreement be met, the Ozark Advertising and Promotion Commission will adhere to any and all building codes and permit expectations presented by the City of Ozark. I have also taken the time and energy to write a resolution stating that if you were to decide that you wanted to go into negotiations with us, it would be easy to do. But I just want to finish by saying I cannot imagine why you would want to take this building and just sell it to the highest bidder and just, heck, I might have to buy it. I mean, it's why we would not want to use the city's money that's already been put into that building and let us take it and develop it and make it something beautiful and exciting and usable for our city that would show off our downtown. Contrary to popular belief, this city, there's an expectation downtown right now. There's an excitement about things moving and starting to change and starting to develop. And you can feel it when you're down there. You come downtown on a Saturday and you go to River Street Auctions or Foxy Goose and you can't get in the door. They're bringing in far more people from out of town than anything else in this town. So I just want to put that to you and let you know that we are very serious about it. We've met with our commission. We've talked about it. We've discussed it. I speak with their approval. And we would very much like to take what you guys have invested in it, what the time and energy that y'all took to get it looked at and get it people to come in and make it secure and safe. And then we can take it now, honoring the investment that you've already made, and take it and move it from that way forward. That is what we would like to propose. And I realize until the auction's over and until y'all decide, we understand all that. We're not asking you to make a decision tonight. I'm just saying, if and when that all happens, and if we have a 7 o'clock meeting here on the evening of August 20th and y'all have to decide to take, if you get a full bid for it, take it. Run with it, but make sure they're going to do something with it. That's all I'm asking. That's all we're asking. Any questions?
Just to add to it.
Microphone.
Thank you.
I'm not loud enough. Just to add to that, I've spoke with several of y'all, and this is not a loss for the city. You don't automatically lose whatever your initial investment is in it. A city entity owns this. Your taxpayers own this. It's not a loss. You can put the stipulations on the AMP just like you did the model cafe. And, you know, you may end up being back here in 6 months talking about the Kimbrough building and what are you gonna do with it, because they haven't made any progress. I mean, when somebody gets something for a cheap, you got $20,000 in the model cafe. He's not motivated to do anything. He's got a $50,000 roof. Have you seen the floor? I mean, you probably should have paid him to take it, honestly. So, I mean, that's where you get, and that's where you get into these properties that y'all are taking on, and you don't really know what you're taking on. I won't go into that, because actually you can have negative equity immediately and get yourself in a bind. Just like the house on First Street. You're given that, but it may cost more to demolish that building or that house than what that lot's gonna be worth. I'm an appraiser, I deal with these situations. So I just wanted to bring that up to you, and also the fact that I don't think the A&P should have to pay for it. I know they're in contract, or there's some stipulations there that y'all may have to work out, and A&P may be willing to work those out. But I think that there shouldn't be a price involved in that. I think it should be given to A&P. I'm just gonna say that, I've talked to y'all about it. They're a city entity, they are the city, just like you're the city, and it's just that y'all can't handle their funds. But like she said, if you took it to a vote and got rid of the tax, the A&P tax, the funds that are in their bank accounts is gonna go directly to the city. A&P is the city.
Teresa, I do want to just make the comment that there are no restrooms downtown. I don't want people to think that the money that was invested down there and the time that the people that volunteered their services, it is by the stage, but there have been restrooms put into the Anderson building once the courthouse was not being able to be open. Main Street came to the city, asked for restrooms, and there are restrooms there. So I just want to get that clarified, because I don't want somebody to come back and say, wait a minute, y'all said you put bathrooms there, but she said there's no bathrooms. Well, but that is still considered the square down there. Are they convenient? No.
Are they open during the day?
They are open when there are concerts, but you're done. No, stop. Now, come, seriously, come. Right, thank you. Okay, Mr. Dietz, do you have anything else you would like to say? I know this is okay, I know, longest, but it's okay.
I don't know who's more sleepy. Look at them.
Kent or Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, but both these guys are up at 3:30 every morning. So what needs to?
I've got one question here, because I really honestly don't remember. Did we put stipulations on this auction just like the model cafe?
You have not.
You have not, that
Is
is
it
what
too
is
late
gonna
to
be.
do that?
No, it is not.
I believe we need to put them stipulations on.
That was one of the things I asked to talk about tonight.
Okay. The same as the model cafe, and then
The house on First, I had a phone call today asking was.
it needs the stipulations, it has to be tore down or brought to code.
No, we did tell him that was within 60 days, because that's
Yeah.
what we did with the house in front of Schaefer's, so we
Yeah.
did tell him that.
That's fine, but I want the stipulations on both them properties we're selling. And then we can, after we see what the Kimbrough building brings, then I say we can discuss whether we're entertaining the A&P or not. That's what I've got to say.
I would do it in two separate oral
Two.
resolutions.
Okay.
Address the house and then address the Kimbrough building.
So what do I
Okay,
need to
but
say?
so we are going to,
Whatever stipulations you wanna put is what I would make the.
well, we
The-
just
the-
need to refer back to the same one that we did for the model.
Let's start with the house.
It was a 60-day.
Tore down or brought up to code within 60 days of purchase.
And he asked if we could build a tiny home there. And now since we don't have, I mean, used to you couldn't, but now there's not a stipulation how big they build, right? I mean, is there an ordinance stating that, I mean, cause look at Candy, I mean, some of hers is only 900 square feet.
I am because it was a question. I should have told her to go over there. I'm gonna start going around being like Oprah and carry microphones to y'all. Sorry, but the people at home, and I get it. Some of them cannot get out here. I get that, so out of courtesy.
No, there is no, as long as a home is built on site, constructed on site on crawl space foundation or slab foundation, there is no square footage requirements. In 2018, the state overruled all municipalities. Our current ordinance says 1,000 square feet, but 2018, the state passed a, I guess, ordinance or law or whatever, statute.
So there's no minimum square footage?
No, sir.
We can't put that on there to the people anymore.
But it has to be built on site.
It has to
Yes.
be built on site. You cannot move one in.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I have a question about that. I know
Can you speak up?
I have a question about that. We allow mobile homes on one certain side down there. That's not in that area, is it?
No.
No,
Fine
that's,
line
it's,
right through
no, you're right.
I just want to clarify that, you know, before someone comes up with that idea.
That is not in the mobile home district.
Now, and if somebody did want to come in and build a duplex, they'd have to have it rezoned, you know. Now, if they just built a single-family residence in there, you know, that's properties R1, R2, but, you know, if they wanted to build a duplex or candy cottages, I call them, you know, it'd have to be rezoned yeah, it'd have to be rezoned R3, so, yeah. But no mobile homes.
Okay, back to the resolution.
Yeah,
Tore
that's
down or brought up to code within 60 days
60 days, you're gonna say,
on
okay.
the house.
You can incorporate that into your announcement.
Now, on the,
You need to pass that.
oh, I need a motion to pass that. What's that resolution gonna be? Do we know?
On the house on First Street.
Yes. Does it need to be in a resolution or just pass it as a motion?
We had a resolution on
So just make it as a motion.
Okay, we'll just make it as a motion so we don't need, okay. Y'all heard that? I need a motion to that.
I'll make the motion, being I made the motion.
We're good.
Yates,
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Maker.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
And I'll make a motion, we put the same stipulations on Kimbrough as we did on the Model Cafe.
I'll second.
Reference the
Oh.
25-6.
In reference of Resolution 2025-6.
Does that one say 90 days?
90
Yes,
days
it
to
does.
get started.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Susan, if you call the roll, please.
Tyler.
Yes.
Maker.
Yes.
Melton.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Okay, now I need a motion do you want to have a special meeting after the auction? Come back here and decide on the 20th.
I would like to, you know, Teresa's, what she's proposed is, and I appreciate, you know, you doing that and getting up and being adamant about it.
I'm passionate.
Yeah, you're
People that know
passionate.
me know
yeah.
I'm passionate about the project.
You know, I think we need to really give, notwithstanding, you know, dealing with the auction service, we need to give the A&P really consideration about that building, have them get in that building, because if we say no, we're saying no to growth in downtown. It's a win-win situation, actually, in my opinion. So I'd like for us to, if we could, discuss or, you know, yeah, to me, it's pretty easy. We just come up with if they, you know, for example, they pay the fees, the costs of the auction, and if,
So are you saying not even have an auction?
no, yes, that's what I'm saying, no auction. We can decide, we should be able to decide that hopefully tonight. Why not?
I believe we need to have an auction, that's just my opinion. And we can decide,
The building's ours, we can do
like
what-
she said, if somebody out of the blue moon offers way too much
And
for
they
it,
understand that. They may
Yeah.
move to the next building, but
Yeah,
you don't know
so-
that somebody, the historical side of that building may come in and want it.
we
I
can
think-
we can still turn down the bid.
Yes,
And give it to them or sell it to them, whatever we decide to do. But I think we need to go through with Mark's auction, where Mark went, and
Sounds
and
like we
see
should
what it does
have a
bring.
meeting after
I-
the auction.
that's
Yes.
all I asked for was a
That's-
motion to
that's
have a
fine.
meeting
I'll
after.
make a motion to
Yeah.
have a meeting after the auction.
I need a second, please.
It's a special, so you gotta have a specific
Special.
agenda.
Special meeting.
Yes. Okay, thank you. So so it will, being a special meeting, it will be discussing the sale of the Kimbrough building. Should that work?
Is that
Are you gonna recognize
thing,
TF?
Or are you going to discuss potentially the AMP as well?
Well, would that not fall under that? Okay,
That would be a sale only.
okay.
So you either approve or deny the sale. That
Can we,
you're-
the discussion of the Kimbrough building, could we leave out the word sale and just the top, because,
I would make it a second point.
okay,
If
if
the
a
sale is not
sale is not
approved, what
approved,
is going to happen with the Kimbrough building?
okay,
I'll have to research and see if the city can even give it to you.
oh, no, I don't think they can.
So really, yeah, all we're really doing is approving or not approving, then we can go back to the table with them and discuss whether they're gonna buy it
Yeah.
or whatever.
That's only, that's what your special meeting is, then you
Yeah.
have one item on the agenda.
Okay, so do the sale of the Kimbrough building and leave it at that.
And really, I'm just speaking out here, but in my opinion, it just depends what it brings.
So, okay, we do have a motion on the floor, I do not have a second yet.
Did,
We got a motion on the floor.
you was wanting to say something, but is it still?
Can I say something real quick?
At the microphone. He even pointed, he knew.
I mean, we've let everyone else, so I hated to not let him.
And I'll be brief. Nobody more than A&P, more than Main Street, more than the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm a vested interest in this too, wants the town to get a business front that's productive, okay? And I may need a nod from Nick's head, because I know he's got to come up here, but if you put a stipulation in there about bringing it up to code, but there's no plumbing in there, there really isn't a whole lot to bring up to code if you don't have plumbing to bring plumbing up to code. And the same thing with electricity. So I would be concerned and careful whenever you put your stipulations down, and we have to have teeth like we did with the model, and we're just now trying to get the model to go. But again, it's about bringing vitalization down to downtown. And that's what everybody's really about, okay? And so, y'all use your conscience to be your guide. Y'all made a decision at the last meeting, passed an ordinance, and this is just another case in point of what I gave in public input, that it's changing, and it's just all kind of come up. But, carry on, I just want to say my piece. Thank you for your patience.
I'll second her motion.
Thank you.
Hyler. Milton.
Yes.
Maker.
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Okay, under new business. Last Friday afternoon, the food bank called. You know, they've switched, Shelley left them. They've been in kind of a transition, and they called and said, what about our lease? Something keeps popping up on our computer about our lease. So, Susan and I got to looking, and their lease for the food pantry should have been renewed in, where did I do with it? Where is it? Right here, okay. Yeah, in May, so we forgot. So I need you to add the food pantry to the agenda, please, so we can get that current with them.
I'll make a motion to add that.
And I need a second.
I'll second.
Yates,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Did you get that? You have it, don't you? Okay. Okay, I need a motion to read, please.
Motion to read.
Second.
Second?
Tyler,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Harris.
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Ordinance 2026-14, bid and ordained by the City Council of the City of Ozark, Arkansas, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of Ozark to execute a lease extension agreement to the Altus Ozark Council of Churches for the continued operation of the food pantry. Section 1, the City of Ozark, Arkansas, the city previously entered a lease agreement with the Altus Ozark Council of Churches on June 9th, 2025 for a building located at 108 South Bell Street, Ozark, Arkansas property for the purpose of the operations of the food pantry to serve those in need in the Ozark area. Section 2, the lease agreement expired on May 31st, 2026, and the churches continue to operate the food pantry in their property, and the city desires to continue to lease the property to the Council of Churches on the same terms and conditions contained in the original lease agreement. Section 3, the mayor should and is hereby authorized to execute the lease extension agreement effective as of June 1, 2026, and expiring on May 31st, 2028, to continue to lease the property to the Council of Churches for the operation of the food pantry for those in need that resides in the Ozark area. A copy of the extension is attached here to Exhibit A. Section 4, this ordinance being necessary for the preservation of public peace, health, and safety, an emergency is declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage. Passed this the 10th day of August, 2026. Approved, Berkeley Hall Mayor, Susan Stevens, clerk. On the lease renewal, you'll see that the renewal terms and conditions should be extended to May 31st, 2028. I put 27 by mistake, so that needs to be corrected.
Is it supposed to be 28 or 27?
28.
28.
I made it a 2-year extension instead of just a single year.
Because it says 28 inside.
In the ordinance, it says 28. but
Right.
Oh, on this
in
page.
lease
Yes.
extension,
I was
it
looking there, I was
shows
like, yeah, that's what I
27.
said.
Okay,
And it
so
needs
it's
to
on
say
that.
28.
Yeah.
I need a motion to dispense with the second and third reading and read by title only, please.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Tyler,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Yates.
Yes.
Ordinance number 2026-14, being ordained by the City Council of the City of Ozark, Arkansas, an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of Ozark to execute a lease extension agreement to the Altus Ozark Council of Churches for the continued operation of the food pantry.
Need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
With correction.
With correction.
Yes. Was it second, Barbara?
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Harris,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Thank you. And that was our fault for not catching that, so we apologize. Under new business, Marla, please.
Well, mine's not as exciting as y'all have been tonight, so I'll keep this short and sweet. We have a CD at Union Bank for $270,970.65, and the rate right now is 3.94 with a 4% APY. And the renewal comes up September the 10th of 2026, and right now it's set for 6 months. And I just kind of wanted to bring it to you and let y'all know, kind of get y'all's approval to go ahead and renew. Of course, I won't know the APR rates and all that kind of stuff, or APY, I'm sorry, rates until August, or September the 10th. But I just wanted to kind of bring that up and kind of remind, because Union Bank has just been, you know, since we do so much with the Bank OZK, we do have one CD at Union Bank. So I just wanted to bring that up and let y'all know, and I guess get y'all's approval and on that. That's how I was just gonna bring that up. See, mine's not near as exciting or fun, so, but that's all I had. I was just gonna remind y'all about that.
They're telling them at the league, when they go into their meetings, to be as transparent as possible. And I know this is the first time that she's asked. You're going to see her be asking every time one comes up. So it is documented, so you don't have, well, was that approved? Did the council even know? It's in documentation and it's here. So she will be doing that from this point forward.
Yeah,
How many days?
Every CD we have is different, you know, some are 3 months, some are 6 months, some can be up to a year. So it changes, you know, because we try to go with the best rate. And when I call on September the 10th, I mean, I can come back and let y'all know, or email y'all or something like that, just to let y'all know if that's what you want to do, or if y'all want to change banks, or, you know, whatever. I just wanted to let y'all know.
So how many
She
days
will
do you
have that
to have it
documentation.
renewed when it
I
comes
have
up?
to call September the 10th.
How long do they give you, or you can just renew it at whatever?
Yeah, when I call that day, they'll give me, you know, if I wanna do it for, you know, 6 months like we have been doing it, or a year, or, and, you know, we have been, you know, I talk it over with Roxy, and we have been picking the best rate that we can get, so.
So our September meeting will be the 14th?
Yes, so she'll be able to report to you then
Yeah.
at what it closed
I mean,
at.
I would say if we could get some rates ready about
I'm gonna say, is it possible to
the
hold it?
10th and 11th to.
The day I call, they can tell me what rates they are and how long, you know, cause then we can pick and choose, you know, if it's 3 months, 6 months to year, that kind of thing.
Can you move banks that day?
When you renew it, sure, we can move it wherever,
Yeah,
but
if you
she
wanna
could get
move
rates
it,
from
you
other
know,
banks,
keep it
right?
Like Simmons, or, you know, Priority, or wherever, I mean, you know, whoever's got the best rates at that time. And if y'all would like, I can call, like that day when I get their rate, I can call and ask the other banks
that
if
is
y'all
a-
choose to or want to,
That's
we
a
can do
tough
it that
deal
way
right
also.
there.
I think that's what we need to do.
Because we're not gonna actually have a meeting that day, so it's a really slippery slope here.
Right.
Not have a
We've been
meeting.
doing it for 8 years, we know.
Yeah.
But
We make a motion
Yeah.
to go with the highest interest rate? Do that this month?
Okay.
Yep, that's what I do.
And usually,
Okay.
like, the day, like on that day, I can call other banks, and they can usually predict, you know, or what that day they have and can do
Okay.
for us.
Just so you know, we do that, but it's just not been written down, because we're gonna get every penny that we can.
Right. Cause I
So-
believe the last one that me and you talked about, we upped it from, was it 3 months to 6 months?
Yes,
Because
because
it was better.
it was a better
higher
rate.
I
Yes,
just wanna make sure we can go ahead, if we're gonna be transparent on everything, that way we got it approved, cause we're not gonna hit that date.
Right.
To be exact, and we've already approved it to happen, so.
correct.
Plus, we're checking with the other financial institutions.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
So we need a motion.
go ahead.
With
I'll make a
consideration
motion
to FDIC
allow
insurance.
For the highest interest rate on that date for Marla to go with that rate.
And then if we do change banks or anything like that happens, then we'll have to do the signatures and, you know, everything else. We'll just move it over and, you know,
But it's already approved that way. and-
Right.
So you also have to consider what we have FDIC insurance.
No, we're not
And-
subject to that,
We are not?
not as a city.
Okay, thank you.
So I have a motion on the floor by Mr. Hyler. Need a second?
Second.
Harris,
Yes.
Melton,
Yes.
Maker,
Yes.
Minor,
Yes.
Yates,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
thank you guys.
So again, at the Municipal League, they found out, Susan and Marla anyone that has service contracts with the city, which is like Tom Foister, Cindy Warden, Marianne Ellerby, that we contract out work on a weekly, monthly basis with them, has to have a service agreement. So you have those in your packet, just so you see them. That's why they have not been done prior to now. I got a message from Marla instantly. We gotta have service agreements. So, we'll get those. I'll get Tom, Cindy, and Marianne to sign those, and we will have those for the auditors and meet league requirements.
Also in your packets, I put, the auction, how much each department will divide up and put, so I just wanna let y'all know that's what's gonna be deposited into each account.
And just so you know, y'all had already approved that money to go to that. She just wanted you to see that.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Irwin, I know you are itching to talk. Normally, we're not here this long, I'm just gonna tell you. Yeah, well.
I'll try to wake up for the group. So those who don't know me, I'm Byron Irwin. I own Riverbend Molding, Eco Environmental Solutions, and a few other companies. We've been operating here since April of 2019. I think we had our Earth Day a year before that. And so since I've been here and I took over the company, the two founders passed away. I've been with the company for 20 years, celebrating September 1st. So that's why this grand opening, coming with Compost Network, kind of was established. We've given away about $400,000 to other communities. And I kind of sat back and said, why don't we start doing something in our community that would be different and unique? And so it started with the Boy Scouts, or the Cub Scouts needing a place to put an area to collect bottles and cans. I didn't think it was quite a good idea when somebody ran into their trailer that we needed to kind of create a permanent location. That became, I noticed the church had no ability to take clothes in after hours. And our community is changing. We need services because people work in different hours. So what happened, I ended up with a recycling bin. Then I ended up with bottles and can bin. And then I decided and heard through the community, we had no community garden. So where I came from, community gardens is everything. Mostly all communities have it where I've come from. I'm a Canadian, not afraid to say that. All Canadians do this. All communities have a community garden. It becomes the center of the community. Because that allows you to give food. It's not just a pantry. Now it is an opportunity to teach and train and learn gardening, learn a skill level. And from that, since we run a composting company, and composting has been my passion for a very long time, and I'm a farm kid, so we've been composting all my life. So when you run an Investo composting company and you sell composters over the world, what better than to put a composter here? Because 60% of your organics, your garbage, can be composted. What a savings for the city. Talk about beautification and AMP, doing more downtown. And in fact, I love your passion, and absolutely you need to do more downtown. Shouldn't sell that property. Because you own it already, and for the downtown, you really need to regenerate it. What I'm suggesting does that for you. It helps you get there. So what we've done has never been done anywhere in America. So it's not just recycling, it's not just composting, it's not just bins or a community garden. It was to create an educational center on top of it. So I'm working with university professors ready to retire about 30 minutes from here, who will come and teach composting, recycling, and many other things. And the community as a whole have come out to say they have something to teach. So now we're getting young people and giving them the ability to learn recycling, giving them the ability to understand composting, giving them the ability to understand what pollinators are, how the environment works together. And what an opportunity, but you have to get them engaged. So how do you get people engaged? Composting is rather boring. There are lots of composting sites. And recycling, looking at a bin, is not overly exciting. So that was to take it to a next step, and that's to get beehive demonstrations, that's to do a bird sanctuary, a butterfly enclosure, to put animals such as dwarf goats, rabbits, chickens, ducks, make it interactive so people understand. A child has an opportunity to understand responsibility. They understand animal and how they need to work with them as well. But then you add something that gets them going. That's a merry-go-round, a stationary train, a teepee. And what you do is start creating an area for Cub Scouts to have meetings, Girl Scouts to have meetings. You're recycling now. Those institutions have the ability to raise funds. So Cub Scouts this year told me they were able to raise enough funds by just having that trailer. Our donations are up 50%. Now, the Altruist Ozark Church, their donations are gonna be up over 50%. Because what happened, we have a location right beside the landfill where everything was going through the landfill. Closed everything. It wasn't convenient, there was nowhere to put it. So what happens, we're diverting that. People are coming, people are dropping, those donations are up. So we're providing a service for the community that allows and brings people together. But all these agencies, I think, have an opportunity to gain from this. You're now supporting indirectly Cub Scouts because you're dropping that off. You're supporting Altruist Ozark Church. You're supporting the Girl Scouts. You're supporting all these agencies which need funding, you need to support those youth groups. But what we're doing is way beyond. So by putting this whole site, which has not been done in America, we're doing it here. Talk about working with AMP, we're creating the first agritourism site. So when you go through, look at Arkansas Farm Bureau, an example, we do I'm not sure if anyone knows about the farm trail. It doesn't go here. This is a black zone. We're not a part of it and haven't been. What this does, and what I'm proposing is that now we will be a part of it. Because we have something now to show off as a city that we've never had before. Agritourism is the #1 in Arkansas. We're missing that. So what I wanted to do is get you excited because we need tourism in this town. You don't have a downtown that is exciting. It's just not there. And AMP is trying, and I think you should allow them to do that. Because you need something to grab people to bring them in. This is to grab them. This is gets them in. Schools are phoning me, wanting to book tours from all over. But it's not just local. I want you to understand, places in Texas are phoning, looking at this project and going, we want to come to Ozark, Arkansas. Who would ever say that? It's a project that's driving them here. There are cities in California wanting to come here. There's cities around the world. And what you didn't realize, our little business was bringing people from Israel and South Africa and South America. Now we have a place to show them. We don't have to take them outside the city. We have a place to show them and a working model in the city. So it should be something that can drive tourism. It can change and give hope to a city and drive opportunity, training, volunteerism, and a passion. And there's funds. There's funds for all of this and grants at the state level, which we're not accessing as a city, and we should be. There's no reason to leave that money sitting there. There's no reason to have a transfer station that's open 2 days a week, in which I predict we're losing 60% of that business to other cities. There's no reason for that. It's because we're not competitive, because we're not open, and because we need to really change how to grab tourism. So just in this little bit, I have all these cities coming and wanting to be a part of this. I also will be on The Block. I don't know if you're familiar with that TV show. It's a documentary, and it will be about Ozark and about Compost Network, because it's never been done. So May of next year, for an entire week, which is my birthday week, I'll be on this show talking about what we can do differently in the concept of Compost Network. I'm cold, sorry. It's really cold in this room. But last night I had to sit down and think we're not quite ready. This project happened a lot quicker. They didn't expect to give about $200,000 in a 5-month period. I thought it was going to be over 18 months, and God had a few other plans for me where I'm wanting to honor a few people which will depart this year through cancer and so on. So I rushed the project. Every time I went and looked at the expense, God said, oh, I can find that cheaper, and we found it cheaper. And so the project went from, should have been 18 months, will be fairly complete by September 1st. So there's opportunities for growth and for growth in tourism and to become the #1 agritourism site in Arkansas. You just have to have and share that dream with me. We can support charities, we can create opportunities for youth, we can educate everyone and create an opportunity for growth in our city and handle waste diversion so much better than what we're doing today. And there are funds available to do that. I think I gave everybody, I did a press release that's grabbed a lot of attention. We made it in the newsletter, which is handed across with the largest companies like Tyson's and Simmons. It was in their newsletter of what we're trying to do here in Ozark. So the major companies are looking at it. I expect Walmart will be interested in the sustainability of which we're doing. So we're driving people here. We need a good downtown to keep them here. We're driving students here all across. So opportunity to create something different is to think outside the box. And that's what I challenge each of you as leaders and as citizens, to look a little different at that box, because we always kind of get too focused. There's so much opportunity that Ozark can do. And there's so much we can really work. And what we owe it is to our youth. We owe them have opportunity, not for the police to end up with them, but for us to do something with them, to give them a place of hope, to give them education and some of the most important things about recycling, because they're our future. And so we owe that future to them. To create something that's educational and bring them, that's engaging, has just not been done. And that's what we're trying to do. Let's see, I think I gave everybody a piece of paper. You can see I'm passionate about this. And I decided to come here because probably breaking every ordinance there ever was, and I thought I should maybe at least apologize for doing it. Because the project grew a little faster than I thought. But I wanted to do something special for the community. Wanted to do something that had never been done. And sometimes when you do that, you just go head on. And it ended up having its own legs and taking it over. So opening September 1st is not an ending, it's really just a beginning. This journey will take much longer. I just passed down a documentary and an interview with Inside Edition, because I didn't think the community was ready, and because I thought it was too soon to go on national TV to talk about Ozark until the volunteerism, until everything was in place. So they said, we're fine if you want to wait for another 6 months to get on national TV to talk about this project. So is there people interested? Can you bring people in? You just have to look at the city a little different. You have to look as agritourism should be your number one, and how to make this, and how then that expands to your downtown. And so for a city of this size, we need a better downtown. We need more of a draw. So I've even went to children's book authors, which show Popeye and Elma, but missed Ozark completely. And said, well, maybe you've overlooked something. Maybe you should look at what we are now and write another book. So this is your opportunity as leaders and as city council and as mayor to make a difference for the youth in our community, so that we don't have to have more police, that we have a center that's safe, welcoming, and engaging, that it's not on their phones, they're playing with animals, they're doing all these right things. So an agritourism site like this is a prime example of thinking outside the box and wanting to do something special for our community. So there's a lot of work. Been working 16 to 20 hours every day. But to turn this around, it takes more time and more energy. Creating a campus is one thing, but you have to put an educational program in there. You have to have a community garden, so that means we have to start creating compost to put into that community garden, and the city can help. So you have a mountain of wood chips. I didn't realize this, but what happens, community members come to me and go, did you know the city's got one heck of a big mountain they're giving us money? We want those wood chips. Right? Because what,
He didn't need a microphone to say
See,
that.
there
Did
you
you
go.
hear that?
Yeah, thank you. Because we need that as one of the ingredients to compost. Right? So we want the city to provide that. We want you to come and look and go, what are we missing? And what do we need to add? And whether that, and some of that is simple as some proper roads to and from. So a little more gravel here or there. That would be nice for the city to provide. And to make sure that, you know, some of those speed zones are not. You'll notice I put lots of speed. Cars go by at 60 miles an hour. I don't think that's correct. So I urge the city to have a look at the property. What can it add to value? There is cameras throughout that property. Safe zone is a safe zone. Want to make sure nobody violates that or causes damage. There are multiple barriers, multiple gates for the protection of animals and protection of people. I thought of all of that. So on the recycling side, we're open 24/7. Lots of cameras, nobody's going in and out that I don't see. On the other side, it's only open certain hours between Monday and Sunday, is what it's arranged for. I think this is an opportunity that I'm glad we can do it for Ozark, but it needs the city to help. It needs your wood chips. It needs people like yourself on our board of directors to help me figure that out. It needs you to also provide grants. I cannot get all the grants. There are municipal grants for recycling. You can get those grants and help us out. I can't do that. You as the city can help doing that. So I urge you to work with us, because really what you're doing is working with the youth of the community and for the betterment of all citizens here. And for all businesses, if we're a tourism site and now hits, and I think we should all read what Arkansas Farm Bureau wants from us. So we paid the membership. I've been dealing with them we want to be #1 agritourism. That draw is significant. That means every business grows. That means your downtown grows. These are things that are really important. We need growth. Think outside the box for that growth. You need more funds, think outside the box for those funds. Because they're there, we're just not accessing them. Because nobody's thought about it. So this gift, we need your help to execute it, right? A building is just a building. Place is just a place. But it's community that can change that. And it's community leaders like yourselves that can really develop this and take it way beyond me. So if this is what I could do in 5 months, I urge you, what could all of us do together if we think differently of our community and look at the opportunities that are there? I urge you to get involved because I think there's an answer to a lot of our problems if we do this. Any questions? Now, I threw a lot. As you can see, I'm passionate a lot. But, you know, I'm on my last leg, so I don't know if anything breaks any ordinances. You have to tell me or we need to switch them. But what I'm doing is creating opportunity. Because if we don't do this, where do we really begin? Because how do you drive people to a community that has no downtown? Really, we don't have a great downtown. If we get more people coming, restaurants do better, opportunities come, there will be more jobs in recycling. Let's look not like a transfer station, but look at a recycling area. Let's look at opportunity for our community, for our students to learn. Let's change the ideology that we think of as garbage and transfer that to somebody else's problem. But look at it as opportunity for each of us to redefine what we stand for and what we want in our community. With that, if you don't have a lot of questions, if you do, I'm here, I'm a target, go for me.
I do want to tell you that Saturday, your colored pencils were a hit.
Perfect.
So you might better get some more ordered because I told them when they ran out, come see you.
Well, we ordered quite a bit. I didn't think we'd run out, but I have to say, that was a great event.
Yes. And
That
your
was a
two
better
employees-
event than the county fair. I think you had more attendance at that event.
Your two employees did an excellent job. Even when it came to cleanup, they were, what can we do to help? So, good job.
Good, I trained them well. Like I said, I urge each one of you to come to the site, review it. I'm open for suggestions. It was how I could dream and what piece of land I could rededicate and make this work. So it took a little bit of concept to figure out how this would work, and you can see how this plays out. But in the center of this campus is our manufacturing plant. So not only do students come and see recycling and see what their environmental stewardship, but they learn engineering, sales, plastics, metal fabrication as well. Think of that, it's just not done. It's never been done. If we think like that in a community of thinking outside the box, we can really create something everlasting in this community. And so what I want to see is this community grow, not the taxes we pay, but the opportunities we create. And so sometimes if we are not growing, it's maybe we're not thinking enough of what the future could be. So I urge you to dream a little with me, because I think everything's possible. We just have to have the right mindset. And I have hats. And I suggest you take one to make me happy. I don't know if that's proper. You can't do that as city council. It's not a bribe. But I bought hats for everyone.
Thank you.
Hey, good job.
Thank you.
I already have one, but I'll take another one.
Oh, for sure. Oh,
I didn't mean to. Here, I'll give her one.
Thank you.
While he's passing those out, I'll go ahead and do the announcements. We had a fantastic turnout Saturday, like he was talking about, for the back to school bash. Brooke outdid herself, getting sponsors, getting people to get involved with the Toucher Truck. Your sponsor list is on the back. Please, if you see these people, say thank you. I will tell you, you see Cecil Methodist Church and Calvary Baptist Church on there. Had the opportunity to give out what was called Convoy of Hope food packets. I picked up 100 cases, and it had spaghetti, chicken, milk, fruits, vegetables in cans, and guys, you don't realize how much of a need that we have here. I will tell you that I gave, and the requirement was we had to have a church sponsor it, and that one per family. And there was a family that there were 5 children, and the mother looked to the father and said, "We can get 2 meals out of that next week for supper." So, yeah. Very grateful for that. It was worth loading and unloading and getting that, but a lot of back to school supplies. But again, tell these people thank you, because these are the ones that seem to be the ones that are involved in it every year, and we are very grateful for that. The fall cleanup is October the 5th through the 10th. The transfer station will be open all week that week. You will need a copy of your Ozark City water bill to dump a load for free. While on the topic of dumping, yesterday we had an illegal dumping out at the city yard again. After viewing the cameras, the individual was issued a ticket today, and that ticket is $405, and I can promise you the judge gives no leniency on those tickets. That is the 4th ticket in a year's time. So, I don't know about you guys, but $405, I could think of something else to do with that. Bargains Galore is this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. As you know, school started today, so be careful on Highway 64. Be mindful of the traffic. School buses are getting back in their routine. Just a reminder, no signs are to be posted on city or state street signs or poles. That is an ordinance, and there is a law against that. Heard me say early voting starts October the 19th. As of last Wednesday, there will be 3 mayoral candidates, 2 city clerk, and 2 council seats that are being contested. City offices will be closed on Labor Day, which is September the 7th. Council, I just handed out, and OG&E reached out to us, and they have a window and door ceiling, an attic insulation, and an LED lighting. This program is open to current OG&E, Arkansas, or AOG residential customers who own or rent a single-family home, duplex, triplex, or fourplex. You can get up to $3,000 credit and have these things happen in your home for energy efficiency. I would highly stress, council, I gave you these to, I will tell on the radio in the morning if people need this number. Brooke is going to post this on our Facebook page as well, and the city page, but they've got that money out there. We need to take advantage of that. There's a lot of people that can benefit from that. So, and just a reminder, as we started off the meeting with Randy, please, let's make him feel special Friday, okay? I will tell you, there's, as you can see, there are some health issues, but I have asked the city employees, the water department has done they've already turned theirs in to me today, but we're fixing a gift card tree for him. You know, even if it's $5, okay? That will all add up, and just to let him know that after 41 years, guys, And you can tell he's very emotional about it, but that's quite an accomplishment. So please come and join us from 2 to 4, and just stop in and tell him how much you appreciate him, please. And with that, I need a motion to adjourn after 3 hours.
I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Yates.
Yes.
Minor.
Yes.
Harris.